Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, Cabbage Head Fanfics. Back with amazing fanfiction. This is the series of What If Deku Finds Book of Monsters. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Izuku. Okay, I'm listening. Book of Monsters. Good, now then first things first, you need a magic staff to make my pages come to life. Luckily there's one right there. The Book of Monsters directs Izuku's attention to a golden staff. The bottom had a blade, while the top was shaped like an upside-down shield with a hole in it. Book of Monsters. That staff used to belong to me before I was trapped in this book, so once I get myself a new body, I'll need it back, but I'll get you a new one to make up for it. Izuku picks up the staff and carries the book over his shoulders. He managed to walk out of the library without anyone noticing and got far. He was about to reach a forest nearby when he saw Bakugo approaching. Bakugo, hey Deku, I'm not done with you. Book of Monsters. It's that boom boom boy. Quick, page 205. Wave the magic staff over me and conjure a monster. Izuku, Bububitsits Kaken. He's like my friend. Book of Monsters. That friend of yours is the reason for all your suffering. He's not your friend, kid. Remember that. Now quick. Page 205. Quick. Izuku does as instructed, but Bakugo is getting closer. Bakugo, hey nerd, what's that you got there? Book of Monsters. Yes, that one. Izuku then waved the staff over the book and suddenly a mix of purple and yellow smoke covered the pages. Suddenly an arm reaches out of the book, followed by a torso, and then a whole body. As it crawls out the creature lets out growls finishing with a roar. Out of the book emerged a large black cyclops monster with markings and horns that appeared like magma, with a pair of small black wings on its back. Izuku, what have I done? Book of Monsters. Laughs. This is gonna be one monstrous takedown. You see, you're good at something. You're good at being bad. The monster roars and begins to attack Bakugo. He tries to fight back, but the monster is too powerful for him. Book of Monsters. More monsters. Make more monsters. Izuku gave a small smirk without realizing it and then repeated what he did again. This time there were more monsters. The first group were ball-shaped monsters with monstrous faces that hopped or rolled around either biting or bumping into Bakugo, and the second group were slightly larger goblin-like monsters with bull horns. Book of Monsters. That should keep him busy for the time being. Now let's get out of here. Izuku watched helplessly as Bakugo was getting attacked by the monsters, but instead of trying to help him, he ran into the forest with the Book of Monsters, as Bakugo cursed at him. Once they were deep enough, Izuku put the book down to catch his breath and looked back. Izuku, Kaken? Book of Monsters. Who does that kid think he is? At least that boy failed. He's gone and we're free. Izuku? Huh? Free. Free to be as bad as we want to be. Izuku? Okay, I'm listening. Book of Monsters. Good, now then first things first, you need a magic staff to make my pages come to life. Luckily there's one right there. The Book of Monsters directs Izuku's attention to a golden staff. The bottom had a blade, while the top was shaped like an upside-down shield with a hole in it. Book of Monsters. That staff used to belong to me before I was trapped in this book, so once I get myself a new body, I'll need it back, but I'll get you a new one to make up for it. Izuku picks up the staff and carries the book over his shoulders. He managed to walk out of the library without anyone noticing and got far. He was about to reach a forest nearby when he saw Bakugo approaching. Bakugo, hey Deku, I'm not done with you. Book of Monsters. It's that boom boom boy. Quick, page 205. Wave the magic staff over me and conjure a monster. Izuku, Bububitsits Kaken. He's like my friend. Book of Monsters. That friend of yours is the reason for all your suffering. He's not your friend, kid. Remember that. Now quick, page 205. Quick. Izuku does as instructed, but Bakugo is getting closer. Bakugo, hey nerd, what's that you got there? Book of Monsters. Yes, that one. Izuku then waved the staff over the book and suddenly a mix of purple and yellow smoke covered the pages. Suddenly an arm reaches out of the book, followed by a torso, and then a whole body. As it crawls out the creature lets out growls finishing with a roar. Out of the book emerged a large black cyclops monster with markings and horns that appeared like magma, with a pair of small black wings on its back. Izuku, what have I done? Book of Monsters. Laughs. This is gonna be one monstrous takedown. You see, you're good at something. You're good at being bad. The monster roars and begins to attack Bakugo. He tries to fight back, but the monster is too powerful for him. Book of Monsters. More monsters. Make more monsters. Izuku gave a small smirk without realizing it and then repeated what he did again. This time there were more monsters. The first group were ball-shaped monsters with monstrous faces that hopped or rolled around, either biting or bumping into Bakugo, and the second group were slightly larger goblin-like monsters with bull horns. Book of Monsters. That should keep him busy for the time being. Now let's get out of here. Izuku watched helplessly as Bakugo was getting attacked by the monsters, but instead of trying to help him, he ran into the forest with the Book of Monsters, as Bakugo cursed at him. Once they were deep enough, Izuku put the book down to catch his breath and looked back. Izuku, Kaken? Book of Monsters. Who does that kid think he is? At least that boy failed. He's gone and we're free. Izuku? Huh? Yeah. Free. Free to be as bad as we want to be. Tamura and Kurogyari had already teleported some villains to the USJ, and now they just had to wait for the class to arrive. Izuku, sorry I'm late, I had trouble putting on my costume. They all looked at Izuku and were both amazed and scared at his costume design. Monstrox, whoa, you look terrifying. Izuku, thanks, the original design was supposed to make me look like All Might, but now that I'm with the villains, I had to come up with a whole new look. Tamura, alright, let's do this. Kurogyari opens a portal and they walk through along with the rest of the villains. In his villain costume, he covers himself in his dark fog, with only the metal brace around his neck being visible. The bookkeeper opens Monstrox and Izuku waves his staff over the pages, summoning monsters. Izuku, nasty evil monsters, come forth and serve me. Make the folks around us wet their pants and flee. Dozens of goblins and scurriers emerged, along with Burnsy and Sparks. The Erasure hero, Eraserhead, then came down and started attacking the villains, deactivating their quirks in the process. Tamura gave Kurogyari the command to separate the class. Izuku, I feel a little queasy. Monstrox, don't barf on me. Just remember, this is your chance to get back at all those people who laughed at you. Who thinks you're nothing but a punching bag for them to use their quirks on. Izuku then recalls all the times he was laughed at and bullied for being quirkless, and it made him angrier with every laugh he heard. Izuku, stop it. Stop it. Stop hurting me. Izuku returns to reality and he is furious. It's time to attack. Monstrox, he's back and he's bad. Time to take down these hero students. Izuku, Burnsy and Sparks. Fling them. Burnsy, sure thing, boss man. They pick up some goblins and throw them throughout the entire facility. This gives the villains an advantage over the hero. Students. Suddenly Monstrox pulls Izuku aside. Monstrox, hey kid, I can sense something nearby, it's in the ruin zone. Izuku, got it. They head off to the ruin zone and when they arrive they see a statue of a hooded figure holding a tablet. Monstrox, I knew it, it's a Rogol and it's got one of the forbidden powers. Izuku, forbidden powers? Monstrox, spells that I created when I was still human, if we can get it, we'll have a better advantage. Izuku, so what do we do? Monstrox, if we're gonna get that forbidden power, I need to bring that Rogol to life. Izuku, how? Monstrox, open me on the final page, and I'll come out as a storm cloud that can animate stone statues. The bookkeeper opens him on the last page. Izuku, okay. Waves staff over page. Magic erupts from the book and then a cloud forms with Monstrox's face. Monstrox, now to bring that Rogol to life. Monstrox hits the statue with lightning. First, it falls apart, then it reforms into a hooded stone creature holding a stone tablet. The tablet has an image of a helmet that appears to be falling apart. Book, the forbidden power of Relentless Rust. Put it in my staff. Izuku does as instructed. Izuku, now what? Monstrox, point it at anything made of metal and Relentless Rust will do the rest. Izuku sees some exposed metal beams inside the building and points the staff at them. A red ball shoots out and hits the metal, causing it to rust. It then breaks and the part of the building it was holding up falls to the ground. Izuku, whoa, that's pretty cool. Monstrox, the Rogol that guarded that forbidden power can also use its powers, give it a try. Izuku looked to the Rogol and instructed it to use Relentless Rust on 2 more metal beams. The same result happened. Izuku, now that's impressive. Hey, while you're like this, can you make more monsters from stone? Monstrox, sure, anything with a face and form is fair game for me to zap to life. Monstrox then sees more statues and zaps them to life. They had a similar appearance to the Globlins and Scurriers, except some of said stone Globlins were flat and had blue spikes on them, and they mainly rolled like wheels. There were also statues of short creatures wearing helmets, and gargoyles which he also zapped to life. They had a purple and gray color scheme, with one of them which acted like the leader being dark blue. I am General Garg. Izuku, good, you will all do nicely. Monstrox's body begins to get smaller and he returns to his book. Monstrox, darn it, I'm still not powerful enough to maintain that form. Oh well, I did my part. Just as they were about to leave they heard an explosion and dodged out of the way seeing Katsuki Bakugo and Eijiro Kirishima. Izuku, that's a very dirty trick attacking someone when their backs are turned. Hello Kaken, it looks like you made it into UA. The last I checked, the UA has 0 tolerance for bullies, so why are you here? Bakugo, I'm gonna end you, Deku. Bakugo launches at Izuku, but Izuku uses a spell he learned from the Book of Evil to attack him with an energy blast from the staff. Eijiro, Bakubro, you okay? Bakugo, let me go SHTTY hair. Izuku, still giving people bad nicknames, why am I not surprised? Eijiro, Bakubro, do you know this guy? Izuku, you didn't tell them about me, Kaken, I'm upset. They should at least know about your former best friend, the one you beat up and had everyone else do the same. Eijiro, he'd never do that, you're lying. Izuku, am I? Izuku then lifted his shirt to reveal his body covered in scars, most of which looked like they were caused by explosions. Izuku, this is what he and everyone who was against me did. These explosion scars came from him. The sight horrified the red-haired boy. The boy that he wanted to be friends with did that to his former best friend and drove him to villainy. Izuku, now, we'd best take our leave, but before that, let me show you how much I've changed Kaken. Izuku removes his mask showing his new appearance. Recruiting Stain and Hosu. The League woke up the next morning and headed down to the bar. Monstrox gave Kurogyri the coordinates for where they have to take the forbidden power. He teleports them to the top of a mountain where they see some sort of ritualistic site with 10 stone pillars. To the ground on which they stood had markings on them, and appeared as if they could move. In the center, there was a hole like something was supposed to fit in it. Monstrox, welcome to Mount Thunderstrox. Kurogyri, good view, and the architecture is incredible. FO, monitor, this must have existed centuries ago. Monstrox, which is why we're here. Monstrox takes on his cloud form with Izuku walking towards the center of the site. Izuku, so, we're here with the tablet, and your staff. What do we do now? Monstrox, the staff is like a key. Insert it and transfer Relentless Rust into the first stone pillar. Monstrox then takes on his cloud form and creates an electric storm with each bolt of lightning hitting the tops of the stone pillars. Monstrox, transfer forbidden power. The tablet melts and flows through the staff down to the floor and then up to the first stone pillar. Izuku, in Magic Dark we always trust. Now take this power of Relentless Rust. Once the transference is complete, the symbol on the tablet appears on the first stone pillar. The duo then laugh maniacally as Monstrox's storm dies down. Izuku, so what did that do anyway? Monstrox, don't worry, all will be revealed in due time. For now, let's get back to base. Tamura, you'd better leave some guards to protect this place. Izuku, good idea, the gargoyles should do. Izuku walks up to the gargoyles. Izuku, stay here and guard this place until we get back. Gargoyle, right, never leave this place even if you come back. Tamura, no, guard this place until we come back. Gargoyle, alright. They were about to leave until they noticed the gargoyles were following them. Izuku, what are you doing? Gargoyle, we're coming with you. Monstrox, they got rocks for brains, remember? They said, stay here. This time they did leave, and the gargoyles stayed behind. Monstrox, hey kid, try casting Relentless Rust again. Izuku, huh? But I already. Monstrox, just try it. Izuku was confused but did as instructed. The monsters brought a sheet of metal and Izuku cast Relentless Rust, and to his surprise he actually did it. Monstrox, just as I thought, you're not just a regular kid Izuku, you're a descendant of a wizard, you were able to learn a forbidden power, and now you're able to use it without the tablet. Izuku, whoa, amazing. Kurogyri, well, that should be useful to us in the future. Monstrox, alright, let's get some rest, and tomorrow we can start looking for another evil book. They agreed, and then suddenly Izuku realized something. Izuku, oh no. Kurogyri, what is it, Izuku? Izuku was about to answer until his phone rang and he took it out, seeing that the caller was his mother. Izuku, it's my mom. Monstrox, oh, I knew we forgot something. Tamura, what's the big deal anyway? Izuku, I never told her I became a villain. The last time she called I made up an excuse, but Kaken saw me, so he might have told her. Izuku was panicking. Tamura offered to use his quirk on her, but Izuku just gave him a death glare which made even him terrified. Finally, Izuku worked up the courage to answer. Izuku, hi mom. Yes, okay. Izuku ended the call and sighed heavily. Izuku, Kurogyri, take me to this address. Monstrox, you're really going to her? Izuku, she's my mom, she was the only person who ever showed me any kindness, even after I was declared quirkless. I have to face this. Kurogyri, alright. Kurogyri opens a portal and Izuku walks through. He finds himself at the door to the apartment he and Inko lived in, and he opens the door seeing his mother standing across from the couch. Izuku walks in and closes the door. He sits down on the couch ready to face whatever was going to happen. Inko, Izuku Midoriya. Izuku, mind, here it comes. Suddenly Inko hugged her son, which confused Izuku. Inko, I'm so glad you're safe. Izuku, I thought you'd be mad. I joined villains, I was part of an attack. Inko, I'm not mad honey, a little surprised, but how could I be mad at you? I've always loved you, and nothing will change that. Sigh honey, I knew about the bullying, I saw the scars last month. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you when you needed it. Izuku was shocked at what he heard. His mother was actually okay with him being a part of a group of villains, and she still loved him in spite of what had transpired. Izuku, Mom, I didn't want you to see those scars, I didn't want it to ruin your relationship with Auntie. Inko, honey, I don't blame her for what happened to Katsuki. Truth be told, she's been blaming herself for it, and she tried to discipline him. It did help a little, but he still wouldn't change. Izuku, I guess this just gives me more reason to destroy the corruption in society. It encourages children to discriminate against others. Inko, Izuku, I want to let you know that no matter what happens, I'll always love you. They hugged each other and Izuku melted in his mother's warm embrace. Izuku, I'd better go. Inko, come by any time, sweetie. Izuku, I will mom. Izuku leaves the apartment now, at ease with what has transpired. Kurogyri opens his warp gate and he goes through. Monstrox, so, how did it go? Izuku, smiles, she supports my decision. Tamura, what? How can she should hate you for joining us. Izuku, my mom's not like that, she cares for me, and supports my decisions. Why would you? Oh, your parents didn't support your decisions, did they? Or more specifically one? Tamura, I don't have to tell you anything. Izuku, I won't pry into your personal life, but you'll have to tell us eventually. Tamura, teach. Tamura storms off to his room. Kurogyri, don't let his outburst get to you, he's been that way since Master found him. Izuku, I'm not that easily offended, but if someone talks bad about or threatens my mom, then they're in a lot of trouble. Izuku and Monstrox head to their rooms to get as much sleep as they can. The next morning they all woke up early to search for another evil book. Izuku, Yon, why'd you wake me up? Monstrox, you want to be evil? Getting up early is evil, right? Besides, you're supposed to be dreaming of conquering this land, kid. Tamura, I still can't believe you dragged us along with you. Monstrox, sniffing, hey, another book? Hang a right. The bookkeeper goes left. The rest of the team follows behind. Monstrox, no, dummy, your other right. The bookkeeper turns around, and they crash into each other. Izuku, why'd you change direction? They all hear the sound of a storm and see a tornado forming in some ruins. Monstrox groans, there, in that ruin, is another evil book. Laughing, I'm so hungry. Let's hurry up and find it. Izuku opens Monstrox. Izuku, I've always enjoyed reading books, and I'm loving every second of this. Izuku summons some globlins and sends them to get the book. Suddenly it started to rain. Just as the globlins got closer to the book, gravity was reversed and they floated off the ground along with the team. Suddenly the gravity returned to normal and they fell back to the ground. They get closer to the book, but the strong winds are pushing them away, and then the air gets colder as it briefly snows, and then starts to hail. Izuku, what is this chaos? Monstrox, you gotta go shut that book. Izuku quickly rushed towards the book while being pelted by pieces of hail. Izuku finally managed to close the book, stopping the chaotic weather phenomenon. The book had a white cover with a golden circle in the center, with 4 arrows surrounding it. The 2 longer ones were pointing diagonally up left and bottom right, while the 2 shorter arrows pointed to the top right and bottom left, making it appear like a rhombus. The symbol in the center had the appearance of a skull, which also symbolized chaos. Izuku quickly reads through it before the rest of his allies rejoined him. Monstrox, whoa-ho, the Book of Chaos. Oh, an excellent find. Tamura, Chaos Monsters. Sounds great. Tamura tries to feed the book to Monstrox, but he won't let them, and Izuku helps keep the book away from his partner. Monstrox, not so fast. I mean, this is a good book. An evil book. But Izuku's not strong enough to control chaos monsters. Tamura, shut your face, book. Your opinion doesn't matter to me. So eat. Monstrox, hey. Tamura, eat it. Tamura forces the Book of Chaos down Monstrox's throat and Izuku is too late to stop him. Monstrox, stand back. Belches. The bookkeeper opens Monstrox on the Chaos Monster section and they emerge without Izuku needing to summon them. Tamura, see, Chaos Monsters, now get them to listen to us. Izuku, okay, I'll try. Okay, time to line up and obey your master. The monsters stopped for a moment, but then they went on with being chaotic. Monstrox, I don't want to say I told you so, but come here. Tamura approaches Monstrox closer. Tamura gets closer, I told you so. I mean, who could have predicted that? Oh, that's right. Me too. Izuku, he warned me that something like this might happen, and look what happened. Tamura, I don't need you. I can clean up my own mess. Izuku, Monstrox, and the bookkeeper turn their backs on Tamura as he tries to sort out the chaos monsters, but to no avail. Tamura, okay, I give. What do we have to do? Monstrox, don't need us, huh? Fine. Page 37. Summon him. He'll be able to control them. The monster was humanoid in appearance with red skin. It wore a chest plate which had the face of a goblin on it along with a loincloth and a brown hood. He wore an eye patch over his left eye with visible scarring on it, and a yellow beard on the right side of his face. He was holding a pair of chains which were chained to 2 goblins. Izuku, I summon you, O great Beastmaster, to help me go and herd disaster. Beastmaster, what is your bidding? Izuku, oh hey Beastmaster. Oh, do your little goblins bite? Izuku pets the goblin on the left who actually enjoyed it. Beastmaster, no. Just as Izuku was about to pet the other goblin, it tried to bite him. Izuku quickly retracted his arm and screamed. Izuku, I thought you said he wouldn't bite. Beastmaster, he's not mine. I'm pet sitting. What is your bidding, master? Izuku, get those monsters under control. And then build us a great, rolling, evil fort. I don't want us to overuse Kurogiri's quirk. Beastmaster did as instructed and got the chaos monsters under control. He even introduced the goblins he had as Pupsy and Muffin. Pupsy was the tamed and more caring of the two, and Muffin was erratic and enjoyed biting people. They returned to the base and introduced Beastmaster to AFO, who was impressed with his skills at controlling chaos monsters. 2 weeks later they watched the sports festival and Izuku took down notes about their quirks and possible weaknesses, which was useful for the league. The next day AFO sent an info broker to arrange a meeting with the hero ender, Stain. Izuku was a bit nervous to meet someone like him, but he did his best to make a good impression. Moments later, Kurogiri teleported Stain into the bar. Just the parts where he is in the bar. Stain then turns to Izuku, who tensed up, but remained calm. Stain, so kid, what is your goal? Izuku, why are you asking me? You got an answer from Tamura? Stain, I can tell that you have a different viewpoint, so tell me, what is your goal? Izuku, well, I want to destroy corruption in society. I was a victim of discrimination and bullying for being born quirkless, and I also saw how the heroes under the Hero Commission aren't doing the jobs of true heroes, but why go for some heroes when you can go for the top? Destroy the source of the corruption, and it will all fall. That is my goal, to create a fair and just society where no one would have to suffer because of something that they can't control. Stain looked at Izuku with surprise in his eyes. This kid was the real deal. In the eyes of the heroes he would be seen as a villain, but to others he would be seen as a true hero. Stain, that's what I wanted to hear. Alright, I'll help train the boy, but only after I finish some work in Hosu. Thefo, very well. Kurogiri, if you would. Kurogiri opens a portal and Stain finds himself back in Hosu. Izuku, he'll need some help if things take a turn for the worse. Thefo, then you'd better help him. I'm sending 3 of our new Nomu to help you. They aren't as powerful as the last one, but they'll do. Tamura, why did you do that? I could have handled him myself. Izuku, Stain has more experience than any of us. You know, Tamura, there is some truth to what he said. The reason he rejected the offer to join when you gave your answer was because he has his own admiration for All Might. To him, All Might is what a true hero should be, someone who risks their own life to save another, despite knowing the dangers they charge head first into the fray to protect them. You can't blame him for rejecting the offer to begin with. I could tell that he was also wronged by society, and he aims to correct it, one hero at a time. Thefo, well now, I'm impressed. You were able to read him like an open book and reveal some interesting facts about him. Izuku, it's a gift. The monitor cuts out and Tamura stands up. Monstrox, well, let's head over to Hosu and help support him. Izuku, all right, Kurogiri, if you'd be so kind. Kurogiri, very well. Kurogiri opens a portal. They walk through and find themselves on the roof of a building. Izuku, I'll summon some monsters to cause some havoc. Monstrox, there are bound to be more statues here for you to bring to life. Monstrox, okay then. The bookkeeper opens Monstrox and Izuku summons some monsters. Once he is done, Monstrox takes on his cloud form and starts zapping the statues to life. They watched as the monsters wreaked havoc along with the Nomu. During this time Izuku was watching Stain fight against a hero student by the name of Tenya Ida, who was Tensei Ida, or Ingenium's younger brother. Stain managed to get the upper hand until Shoto Todoroki, the son of the number 2 hero, Endeavor stepped in and managed to knock Stain unconscious. They watched as the 2 students and paralyzed hero native stumble out of the alleyway. Just then, the winged Nomo flew down and grabbed a civilian. Stain quickly broke free from his restraints and grounded the Nomo while saving the civilian. Suddenly they hear him make a speech. Kurogiri, it seems your training with the hero Ender will be put on hold for the time being. Izuku, regardless we were able to gather more allies. Kurogiri, would you mind teleporting these stone monsters back to base? Kurogiri, not at all. Kurogiri opens a portal under all the stone monsters and teleports them back to base. Once they are done, they return to base themselves. Izuku, now do you see why he does what he does? Tamura, yes, I understand now. We may have different viewpoints, but we both want the same thing. Izuku Midoriya, we also have the same ideals, but I gave the wrong reason. I'm eager to work with you in the future. Izuku, that's good to hear. The next day Beastmaster unveiled the vehicle that Izuku requested, which Monstrox had the pleasure of naming the Evil Mobile. It was a large 2-wheeled carriage with 2 catapults on the back that fired goblins and a jail cell in the front. It didn't have an engine, so instead it had to be pulled with chains by larger monsters like Burnsy and Sparks. The team was now riding the Evil Mobile to a new location. Izuku, yes, Evil Mobile is a good name, but this is not what I was hoping for. Beastmaster, faster. Monstrox, that's what you get, genius, for having chaos monsters build the thing. It's a chaotic mess. And I want credit for naming it the Evil Mobile. Izuku, fine by me. Though this has given me some ideas for vehicles that the other monsters can use, after all our numbers will be increasing with every new book we find. Tamura, if it gets us closer to destroying this broken society, make it good. Izuku now took out his notebook and sketched a few drawings of what the monster's future vehicles should look like. His current focus was Beastmaster, who was commanding the monsters that were driving. The design was that of a hovering chariot with two larger goblins pulling it. There was also a catapult on the back that fired goblins. Izuku, hey Beastmaster, I've made a design for a vehicle you can use. I call it the Chaos Chariot. Beastmaster, this looks good. I'll have the monsters work on it as soon as we return to base. They arrive at a swamp that has a very foul odor. Tamura, why did you bring us here? Monstrox, that aroma is the reason we're here. I'm hot on the trail of another forbidden power, and it's right in there. There were some ruins of an old castle in the swamp which was barely visible due to the foul odor. Wow, hope the owners had insurance. Monstrox, you're looking at Castle Mauthausen. What's left of it anyway? Come on. They enter the castle, which is covered in moss and vines. Tamura, why would anybody build a castle in a disgusting swamp like this? Monstrox, because it wasn't a swamp when they built it. This used to be a beautiful palace on a majestic hill, till that happened. Therefore, what happened? Monstrox, my monsters. 3 especially nasty ones that are really good at grabbing stuff. Monstrox points to 3 statues. Izuku, well, what are they doing here? Monstrox, they must have got caught trying to take that forbidden power over there by some of Malik's forces when they tried to invade this place. They were frozen in place. We can use them. Monstrox takes on his cloud form and zaps the statues with his lightning, bringing them to life. The statues had transformed into 3 stone female harpies which gave sinister smiles. Harpie 1, well, hello boys. Harpie 2, is that our old pal Monstrox? Harpie 3, looking a bit, cloudy. Monstrox, oh, the Harpies, Hilda, Ingrid and Ulrich. Hello girls, these are my associates Izuku Midoriya, Tamura Shigaraki, and Kurojairi. The one in charge of those 2 is on the monitor with another associate. They've never seen your work. Wanna clean up that forbidden power down there for me? Hilda, sure. Izuku, how bad can they be? They look kind of... The Harpies start tearing off the moss and vines from the Rogol statue, much to the disturbance of the rest of the team. Ulrika, that felt good. Ingrid, like the old days. Therefore, they're efficient. Monstrox, oh yeah. They're a good add to our evil legions. Now let's grab that forbidden power. Izuku, if I had to wager a guess, I'd say the forbidden power we're looking at is Ravaging Rot. Monstrox zaps the Rogol to life. The Rogol had the same appearance as the one that had Relentless Rust, with the only difference being that it had a knight's helmet instead of a hood. The forbidden power's symbol had a green apple that appeared to be melting on it. Izuku takes the Ravaging Rot from the Rogol and puts it in the staff. Monstrox, oh yeah, now that's some top-quality evil and we get the Harpies as a bonus. Kurojairi, they are a little disconcerting. Monstrox, stutters, stop using big words to sound important. Right now, let's head back to Mount Thunderstrox and plug this bad boy in. They make their way out of the swamp and back to the evil mobile. Defo, so what does this forbidden power do? Suddenly they notice an unattended food cart in it. Monstrox, try it on that food cart. Izuku, okay. Izuku used Ravaging Rot on the cart and the wood rotted away and the wheels popped off. Tamura, it wrecks wood? Kind of a letdown. Monstrox, giggles, now the veggies. Izuku fires another blast, this time at the veggies and all of them rotted. Tamura, okay, now that is pretty evil. Monstrox, it'll rot meat, milk, juice, just about anything people eat. And anything made of wood. AFO, quite a brilliant plan. By rotting the food, you'll drive the people to starvation, and they'll have to get their food from other sources. Izuku, and by rotting any wooden structures like bridges it will cut off travel. Shigaraki, I think I'm going to enjoy seeing this power work. Once they returned to base, the monsters began construction on the new vehicles, Beastmaster's Chaos Chariot, and vehicles for the gargoyles and other humanoid stone monsters called the gargoyle copters. The next day they arrived at Mount Thunderstrox to transfer ravaging rot. Monstrox, transfer forbidden power. The tablet melts and flows through the staff down to the floor and then up to the second stone pillar. Izuku, I need power, I need a lot, so take this power of ravaging rot. Once the transference is complete, the symbol on the tablet appears on the first stone pillar. The duo then laugh maniacally as Monstrox's storm dies down. In the dark woods, Izuku, Tamura, Kurogyri, and Monstrox are standing by a new evil book. Izuku had already finished reading it, and now they just had to feed it to Monstrox. Tamura is attempting to pick up the book with 2 long sticks. The book in question had a green cover with a golden circle in the center with 2 long golden arrows pointing diagonally up left and bottom right, 2 long black arrows pointing diagonally up right and bottom left, and 4 short arrows pointing vertically and horizontally. The inside of the circle was black with an open eye in the center with a green iris which symbolized fear. Monstrox, watch it, kid. You gotta be very careful. You don't want to touch the Book of Fear. Tamura, yeah, spooky book. All I care about is that we beat those heroes to it. Now just open wide and down the hatch. Using the sticks he pushes it into the Monstrox's mouth. He laughs evilly. Kurogyri, okay, let's see what kind of monsters this gets us. Izuku takes Monstrox off Bookkeeper and lays him against a large rock. He waves the staff over the pages which causes goblins with spider legs to appear out of the book. Izuku hides behind the rock. The spider goblin's master, a red woman with a snake tail in place of legs holding a pair of whips, rises out of the book as well. She turns around to Izuku. Boo! Izuku screams and hides further behind his rock. Monstrox, hey scaredy pants, don't worry about Whipperella here. As long as her whips don't touch ya, you're fine. Whipperella cracks her whips off the staff for emphasis. Monstrox, ain't she terrifying? Izuku, yeah, she's plenty scary. But I see how she would fill others with fear. Like those pesky heroes. Finally they will know real fear. Monstrox, and we now have more monsters in our army. Whipperella, it's good to be back, and I can't wait to strike fear into our enemies. They head back to the bar and introduce Whipperella and the spider goblins to the rest of the league. Oh, Izuku, I have a task for you and Monstrox. Izuku, what is it? AFO, an acquaintance of mine by the name of Wolfram is planning to steal something from my island. I have the sense that he will fail to do so, but I want you to join him, in case there are any forbidden powers or evil books present. Tamura, hey, why not send me? AFO, I'm not taking a risk. Izuku and Monstrox can provide support for Wolfram, and once they're done Kurogyri can bring them back. Tamura grumbled fine. The duo discuss the idea and then give their answer. Monstrox, we're in. Kurogyri gives the duo small devices. Kurogyri, once you're done, just press the button and I'll know your location and get you out. The next day they arrived at the docks where they were met with a villain wearing a metal mask. Izuku, I take it you're Wolfram? Wolfram, yes, and you must be the new member of the league. Izuku, yes, and this is my partner, Monstrox. Monstrox, I'd shake your hand if I had any. Wolfram, well, let's get a move on. They board the boat and head over to the floating artificial island known as Island. Izuku always wanted to come here himself as he got older, but now he gets to see it. It's too bad he has to be part of an attack. They arrived at the island and got into their assigned positions. What Izuku didn't count on was the arrival of All Might and some members of Class 1A, but the plan went ahead. Izuku summoned some monsters to help the villains with managing the civilians and captured heroes. Once they were done, they headed off to look for any new forbidden powers and evil books. They explored the facility until they came upon 2 Rogals. Monstrox, well, would you look at that? 2 Rogals for the price of 1. Izuku, and 2 new forbidden powers, which ones are they? Monstrox, Collapsing Crumble, which can cause anything made of rock and stone to crumble to dust. The other is Blazing Burn, which can set anything on fire. Izuku, Collapsing Crumble could be useful for making some quick escapes, and Blazing Burn will help in creating walls of fire to keep our enemies at bay. Let's free them. Monstrox zaps the two Rogals to life and then Izuku takes Collapsing Crumble and puts it into the staff. It looked like a blue stone pillar that was crumbling away. Izuku, alright, let's test it out. Izuku points it at a nearby wall and shoots it with the forbidden power. Suddenly the wall crumbled to dust. Izuku, now that's impressive, not useful for strengthening our stone monsters, but still useful. But how am I going to carry two forbidden powers? Monstrox, don't worry, you can still insert another forbidden power. Izuku, okay. Izuku then takes Blazing Burn, which looked like yellow flames with a monstrous face. Izuku, I'd better not use it here, don't want to end us in the process. Monstrox, good thinking, now let's keep searching, I can smell an evil book here. They searched the facility, making sure not to get spotted by the students until they found it. The book was red with a circle in the center, and the arrows pointing in all directions with the top and bottom arrows being a little longer than the rest. The interior of the circle was black, and the symbol inside looked like the fangs of some kind of beast which symbolized anger. The book was lodged in a wall. And glowing. Izuku, the Book of Anger. They approached the book. How come this whole facility isn't crazy angry? Monstrox, the book's lodged in the wall. The anger hasn't been able to get out. Quick, feed me, feed me, feed me. Izuku grabs the book and pulls it out of the wall. Suddenly he feels a sense of anger flow over him. Izuku, yeah, keep your binding together, you rotten old lexicon. I know what I'm doing. Realizes what he said. Gasp, I'm so sorry, I don't know what came over me. Monstrox, no need to apologize, it's the book's power at play. Izuku quickly reads through the book and takes notes. Once he is finished, he feeds Monstrox the book. Monstrox, what are you looking at? Izuku, and nothing. Monstrox, oh yeah. This is one book full of angry. Okay, let's make some monsters. Izuku opens the book to the anger monsters section and begins summoning them. Izuku, angry monsters, come forth and be real mad. Get so filled with anger, will be very, very bad. The new monsters that came out were a large ball made of globlins, which are called bloblins. Then emerged two more humanoid monster commanders. The first one looks like some kind of fire spirit, with flames for hair and a flame tail in place of legs. The second one was black with magma spikes on his shoulders, his lower arms and hands were red and large. Man, it's good to be out, so you're the kid the others have been talking about. I'm Flamma, and this is my twin brother Molter. Izuku, it's nice to meet you both. Molter, so what do you want us to do, boss? Izuku, for now, you and the other monsters will have to protect us. Flamma, you got it. Monstrox, now this is gonna be fun. Burnsy, Sparks, you need a little anger. Monstrox exhales a mist that touches both Burnsy and Sparks, causing them to be filled with anger. Izuku, keep the heroes occupied until we get that last book. Sparks, don't tell me what to do. Burnsy, shut up. Sparks, you shut up. The duo leaves along with some monsters while Izuku, Monstrox, the bookkeeper, Flamma, Molter, and a few other monsters head to the main lab. Once they arrive, they listen to David Shield's confession to allowing the villains into Island to his daughter Melissa and Achiko Uraraka. They were about to leave when they saw Wolfram shoot David's assistant, Sam, get shot. This made Izuku angry. He had his monsters on standby. David Shield was about to block another bullet, only for it to be intercepted by a globlin, which then turned into smoke and returned to Monstrox. Wolfram, what is the meaning of this? Izuku, we did not join your little escapade just to watch you attempt to commit end. Wolfram, so what? I got what I want, and he's no longer useful. Though the professor on the other hand. Izuku, no, I won't let you separate a parent from their child. Wolfram, we had a deal. Izuku, the deal's off. I may be a villain, but I'm not a ender. Izuku opens Monstrox and summons more angry monsters. Izuku, angry monsters, come forth and get this right. Use your nasty angriness to blast and beat Wolfram's villainous might. The monsters start charging at Wolfram, biting and punching him, with most of the punches coming from Molter, and Flamma is shooting fireballs. Wolfram then tries to attack Izuku with his quirk, but he channeled Relentless Rust into a magic shockwave that destroys them and knocks Wolfram back, causing him to drop the controller. Izuku, our partnership is terminated. Izuku slams the staff down, destroying the remote. Just as Wolfram got up, All Might arrived and sent him flying. Never fear. But because I am here. Achiko, All Might, thank goodness you're here. Yes, now to arrest this young man. Melissa, wait, he saved us. What is this true? Izuku, I may be a villain, but I am against End. Achiko and Melissa smiled a little. Be that as it may, I'm still going to have to take you in. Izuku then notices something. Izuku, I think you'll have to deal with that first. They turn around to see Wolfram, with the quirk-boosting device fused with the structure. All Might and Melissa head down to fight it. Izuku, so she's his successor, you made a good choice, All Might. Izuku then summons more monsters and sends them to help All Might and Melissa. Izuku and Monstrox watched the fight as the shockwaves sent them tumbling into a desk where Izuku noticed something. Izuku, mind that snow globe. The monsters and All Might continue to fight Wolfram until both All Might and Melissa deliver a double United States of Smash. Izuku, phew, they won. They see the heroes approaching them. Monstrox, and now it's our time to leave. Monstrox reabsorbs the monsters and Izuku pushes the button. A warp gate appears and they escape through it. David, Toshi, thanks for saving me. No problem, Dave. David looks at his desk and sees something's missing. David, hey, where'd that snow globe go? Back at the LOV bar. A warp gate opens and Izuku, Monstrox, Flamma, Molter, and the two Rogals come through. Kurogyri, I take it Wolfram failed. Izuku, yeah, but we got what we needed. 2 new forbidden powers and the power of the Book of Anger. FO, excellent work. Get some rest, you deserve it. They headed to bed and got some rest. Izuku called his mother and told her about his trip to Island. The next morning they woke up and found Tamura and Kurogyri at the bar with a monitor on. FO, Midoriya, Monstrox, it appears something else came up. A strange maze has appeared in a valley not too far from here, any idea why? Monstrox, it could be the work of a magic book, we'd better go there and find out. They head to the evil mobile and load it with monsters. Thanks to Kurogyri's quirk they arrive at the maze without anyone knowing. They climb out and see the entrance. Izuku, okay, let's go in. They all head inside and suddenly the entrance closes. Tamura, great, we're trapped. Kurogyri, trying to use warp gate, I can't use my quirk. Izuku, looks like we're gonna have to beat this maze if we're gonna get out. They walk ahead and then they come up on 3 paths. Monstrox, conjure up some scouts, magic madman. Izuku waves the staff over the Monstrox. Monsters materialize. Izuku, monsters, walk ahead of us. You go to the right. You go left. The 2 globlins go in those directions. They both explode into magical dust. The team reacts with shock. The dust flies back to Monstrox who consumes it. Izuku, command decision, we go straight ahead. Monstrox, that was a tough call. They continued walking ahead and encountered many different traps and illusions. Tamura, oh, this maze is impossible. Monstrox, relax. You just gotta think smarter. We'll smell it out. Sniffs at air, it's that way. Tamura gets frustrated and takes the staff from Izuku. Izuku, hey, give that back. Tamura, monsters, I'm going crazy. Help me navigate this wacky maze. Tamura douses the monsters with magic. Tamura, fastest route from one place to another is a straight line. Straight ahead. The monsters attack the wall, knocking it down. Tamura, see, I'm a genius. A giant boulder comes down the path, crushing them all. They get up, dazed. Tamura, what? Glad that's rolled by. The boulder comes back down, crushing them all again. They stand up again though Izuku's scarf is slightly trapped under the boulder. He pulls it free. He crouches down to find the Monstrox stuck under the boulder. Monstrox, our fearless leader, the genius. Izuku frees Monstrox, the bookkeeper, and the monsters that got rolled over. Izuku, looks like we can't brute force our way through. We'll have to take the long way. They continued walking until they reached 2 doors. Izuku, Monstrox, can you translate this? Monstrox, sure. Let's see. Now your path you must choose. Pick wisely or you will lose. A helpful maiden you might find, or a horrible monster, most unkind. Kurogiri, how do we know which door is which? Tamura, how can we choose without knowing? Izuku, in background by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Monstrox, it's a riddle, and we have to figure it out. Kurogiri, okay, let's take a moment. Nobody does anything. Izuku, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Izuku opens one of the doorways. The others shout at him to stop. The other villains charge at the doorway but stop when a beautiful maiden walks out. Maiden, greetings, brave warriors. Tamura, hello. Tamura Shigaraki. And you are? Maiden, I am called Zoot. Kurogiri, greetings Zoot, I am Kurogiri. How do we find the evil book we're looking for? Zoot gestures at the path behind the doorway she came out of. Tamura, all right. Let's go. Izuku pushes the other door open. The other villains except for Monstrox rush over, and a huge monster made of rock walks out. Izuku smiles and steps forward. Izuku, what is your name? Monster, my name is Dingo. The other villains look shocked. Tamura, that is a girl? Izuku, which is the true path to the book? Dingo shows the path behind her. Kurogiri, the glyph said a helpful maiden, not a beautiful maiden. Izuku, and the monster would be horrible, not hideous. Having been found out, Zoot summons 2 swords in a cloud of purple smoke. Zoot, too late. You're doomed. She is suddenly picked up by Dingo. Dingo, bad Zoot. Bad, wicked, naughty Zoot. You will be punished. To the villains go and find what you seek. The League of Villains goes forth through the correct doorway. They continued walking till Kurogiri asked Izuku a question. Kurogiri, hey Midoriya, how did you know that Zoot was the monster? Izuku, well, nothing is as it appears in this place. I was wondering how the book ended up here, but then I remembered Monstrox told me that there was only one book capable of doing this, the Book of Deception. Tamura, your mother must be so proud of you. Izuku suddenly grabs Tamura and holds him in the air. Izuku, was that a crack at my mother, Shigaraki? Tamura, no, your mother is lovely. I can't wait for a big bowl of her katsudon if she visits, or we visit her. Izuku smiles and puts Tamura down, apparently having forgiven him. Izuku, yeah, sorry, I'm just really protective of my mom, she's done so much for me, I want to protect her with all my heart. Little girl, distantly, hello? Someone help me please. Monstrox, what was that? Tamura, ghosts? Kurogiri, it's not ghosts, that was a little girl. Izuku, Kurogiri, wait. Kurogiri runs off to find the little girl. Little girl, distantly, help me. Kurogiri turns a corner and keeps running. Kurogiri runs into a hall and sees the little girl tied up in a stone chair on the other side of the hall. As he attempts to reach her, darts shoot out of the wall. He blocks them with his mist and then jumps over them towards the little girl. Kurogiri, don't worry, I've got. The little girl laughs evilly and disappears into a cloud of monster dust. Kurogiri looks back and sees the others at the opposite end of the hall. Tiles on the floor start to fall. Kurogiri jumps back across them to reach his teammates. On his last jump, he barely reaches the other side and is left hanging on a vine before Izuku pulls him up. Monstrox, Kurogiri, everything in this maze is an illusion and deception. Izuku, don't blame yourself, I would have done the same, but we need to consider all the variables, like why a little girl would be in here. Kurogiri, forgive me, I'll try to think more rationally before I act. They continued through the maze until they reached a large area, and in the center was a pedestal with a book on it. Tamura, too easy. He and Kurogiri start to go towards the book before Izuku stops them. Izuku, nothing is as it seems. Monstrox, he's right. Hear that? We're not alone. They were silent, and they could hear a faint sound. Monstrox, prepare for foul play. Izuku summons more monsters including Flamma and Molta. Tamura and Kurogiri both look around confused. Monstrox, those rocks? Izuku, aren't rocks. The rocks turn out to be rock monsters, similar to Dingo. They all begin to fight until Monstrox calls out. Monstrox, the book. Get the book. As the monsters continue to fight the rock monsters, Izuku quickly rushes past them and reaches the book. The book was yellow with the circle having some black detailing. There were 2 long arrows pointing up and down, and 4 arrows pointing in diagonal directions. The symbol in the center was a question mark which symbolized deception. Kurogiri, what is it? Izuku picks up the book and reads an inscription. Izuku, I am the book of deception and I cannot tell the truth. Izuku is about to open the book. Tamura, kiddo, there might be heroes here. Izuku, we have to know. Izuku opens the book and the maze and monsters turn to dust. Tamura, okay, I'm confused. What was the point of this whole thing? Izuku, it was a ruse, to take someone else's focus away from getting the real book. They all turn around to see a bunch of heroes from UA. They started running back to the evil mobile. The heroes chase after them, but they are able to get to the evil mobile in time to send some monsters to hold the heroes off. Monstrox, to Izuku, bring me the book of deception. Hurry! We've only got a small window to pull this off. Izuku does as instructed while the villains are commanding the monsters. They returned moments later and Izuku was holding the book. Izuku, to Monstrox now? Should I do it now? Monstrox, wait for it. The heroes keep fighting off the monsters until more heroes arrive. Izuku, to Monstrox, should I do it now? Monstrox, wait for it. The heroes now started to get the upper hand. Izuku, now? Monstrox, wait for it. The number of monsters was dropping like flies. Izuku, how about now? Monstrox, wait for it. Just as all seemed lost, Monstrox spoke up. Book of Monsters, now. Izuku, Burnsy, hurry. They've won. Get us out of here. Hurry. Monstrox, toss it. Izuku tosses the book of deception onto the ground behind the evil mobile. The book? We have to secure the book of deception. They manage to get to it, but the villains get away. Midna, oh man, they got away. Aizawa, yeah, but we got the book and that's our main mission. Back with the villains. Tamura, I can't believe you just handed them that book after we almost died to get it. Monstrox, did we? Izuku reaches into his pocket and pulls out the real book of deception, which shocked the villains. Izuku, the one we gave them was a copy created by the original, and I was able to read through it in the time it took for us to keep them occupied. Kurogiri, won't they figure out that we gave them another bogus copy of the book of deception? Monstrox, yeah, eventually. But by the time they do, we'll be long gone. Kurogiri, well, let's head back. Kurogiri opens his warp gate and they return to their base. Izuku holds it tightly as they enter the bar. Izuku is Jestro. Tamura and Kurogiri help with feeding the books to Monstrox. Monstrox, okay, that's another book dealt with. Now Izuku and I'd better head to Mount Thunderstrox to get these forbidden powers finally transferred. Kurogiri uses his quirk to teleport them to Mount Thunderstrox where they begin with the transference. Transfer forbidden power. The tablet melts and flows through the staff down to the floor and then up to the 3rd stone pillar. Izuku, with this magic I'll make the heroes fumble. I give to you collapsing crumble. Once the transference is complete, the symbol on the tablet appears on the 1st stone pillar. The duo then laugh maniacally. Monstrox, good, now let's transfer Blazing Burn and that will make 4. Izuku puts Blazing Burn's tablet into the staff and they do the ritual again. Monstrox, transfer forbidden power. The tablet melts and flows through the staff down to the floor and then up to the 4th stone pillar. Izuku, it is now finally our turn. So take this power, Blazing Burn. Once the transference is complete, the symbol on the tablet appears on the 4th standing stone. The duo then laugh maniacally as Monstrox's storm dies down. Kurogiri then brings them back as Tamura sits at the bar. Shigaraki? You all have been the talk of the town for the past few days. I hear you're starting something big. The man who walked in was a middle-aged man of moderate height and slight build, with eyebrows that appeared to be furrowed up most of the time and notably squinted-looking pink eyes. He has short gray hair worn parted to his right with side bangs hanging above his eyes, along with a small mustache and a goatee on his chin, and one of his front teeth seems to be missing, leaving a gap in his grin. He wears a pair of dress pants and a matching blazer, along with plain black shoes and a shirt which he leaves partially unbuttoned at the top. He has a thick, golden tube-like necklace around his neck that appears to be made up of multiple segments, sometimes along with a fluffy scarf that resembles intestines in shape and color, also sporting a pair of circular glasses on his face. He was smoking a cigarette. Izuku, you must be the broker we heard about. Jiren, if I'm not mistaken. Jiren, and you too must be the monster summoning duo I've heard about. However, my real name is Kajiro Okuta. Tamura, and? Poor they. Tamura referred to two people who stood by the door. So it's you, huh? I saw a picture of you, but you look gross in person. The first person is a reasonably tall, pale young man of slim shape but somewhat muscular build, described as in his early 20s. He has white hair with a few red flecks at its crown that spikes upward around his head, hanging low over his eyes, which are thin, turquoise, and heavily lidded. His hair is black. His most striking features are undoubtedly the patches of gnarled, wrinkled, purple skin that cover much of his lower face and neck, all the way down past his collarbone, below his eyes, around his torso, and on his arms and legs. These appear to be attached to the rest of his skin by multiple crude surgical staples or hoop piercings. He has several silver cartilage piercings in both ears and a triple nostril piercing on the right side of his nose. Upon closer inspection, he also lacks earlobes on both sides of his ears. He wears a dark blue jacket with a high, ripped collar, matching pants cut off above his ankles, and a pair of dark dress shoes on his feet. He also has a plain pale gray, scoop-neck shirt, below which a gray belt with a circular pattern wraps around his waist, a leather satchel attached at the back. Wow, the hand guy. You're friends with Mr. Staney, right? Right? Let me join the League of Villains. The second person is a fair-skinned girl who is prone to blushing and has a pretty face. She has inward-tilting yellow eyes with thin slit-like irises, somewhat resembling those of a cat, and her wide mouth is also rather feline, as her canines are pointed and longer than the rest of her teeth, giving her a vampiric appearance. Her hair is a pale, ash-blonde color and is styled into two messy buns, with numerous wild strands sticking out a straight fringe, and two chin-length side bangs framing her face. Her usual outfit consists of a plain sifuku with a kansai collar, both the skirt and the shirt dark blue with a double white trim, which is paired with a red scarf that she ties loosely below. Over this, she wears an oversized beige cardigan with a long hem and cuffs, and pockets on either side, the right one shown to hold a number of trinkets on either a keychain or a cell phone strap. She sports knee-length black socks and dark brown outdoor school shoes. Tamura, Kurojiiri, get rid of these two. I can already tell they're exactly the kind of trash I hate. A brat and a guy with no manners. Kurojiiri, now, Tamura Shigaraki. They came all this way. The least we can do is hear them out. Give them a chance. Besides, this broker is respected in the underworld. They're bound to be valuable assets. Jiren, like M or not, you still owe me a finder's fee. In cash. Izuku, mind, well, he does work for payment, there's nothing wrong with that. Jiren, I suppose I could introduce the two of them before I go. Izuku, that would be appreciated. Jiren, points to the blonde girl. This one looks like an adorable high school girl, right? She's actually the suspect in a series of deaths where the victims all bled out. So far, her name and face have been kept out of the media. Izuku, mind, I remember those incidents, but it didn't look like they died from a blood loss. It looked more like they'd been drained of their blood. She could have a blood-related quirk. I'd better be careful around her. Toga here. Himiko Toga. Life is too hard. I just want to make it easier to live in this dumb world. I want to be Mr. Staney. I want to KL Mr. Staney. Come on, handyman, please let me join your League of Villains. Tamura, you gotta be kidding me. Is she crazy? Izuku, I don't think so. Her quirk must be blood-based, she's probably suffering from withdrawal symptoms. Jiren, well, she can hold a conversation. For the most part, at least. Come on, she could be useful. Points to the boy covered in scars, and this guy hasn't committed any flashy crimes, but he's taken Stain's ideology to heart. I don't like this. Izuku, mind, he almost sounds like Shoto. Are they related perhaps? Now that I look at him, he looks very familiar, but I can't put my finger on it. Is your group really dedicated to the hero Ender's mission? I can't imagine you are if you're gonna let this little psycho join you. Himiko giggles. Tamura, grow up. She may be a psycho, but at least she knows how to introduce herself to people. Don't just stare. What's your name? Right now I'm going by Dabi. Izuku, mine. Dabi means cremation, so his quirk must be connected to it. Tamura, no, I want to know your real name. Dabi, I'll tell you when you need to know it. In any case, my new purpose is to carry out the hero Ender's will. Tamura, that wasn't what I asked you, Patchwork. Geez. Why is everyone so hung up on Stain? He's all I ever hear about. Monstrox. Kurogiri, I think you might have to step in at some point. Izuku, I agree. Kurogiri, no, don't do it. Tamura, every damn day. It's really pissing me off. You two are done. All three charge at each other, Tamura with his bare hand, Dabi who had sparks coming from his hand, and Himiko with a knife. Before they could land a hit, Kurogiri intercepts them by using his warp gate and having their arms portaled away from each other. Kurogiri, please calm yourself, Tamura Shigaraki. If your desire is to be realized, then we must increase our numbers. Now that we're in the spotlight, our chance is at hand. I advise you to be more accepting. You must use them in the ideology Stain has left behind. Izuku, he's right, our army may be immense, but it's not as powerful as it was decades ago. We need more help. Tamura pulls his arms out of the warp gate and proceeds to walk out the door. Tamura, I'm outta here. Jiren, where are you off to? Tamura, shut up. Tamura walks out and slams the door. Jiren, I try to make it a point not to complain about a client, but he's too young. And far too immature. Himiko, really thought he was gonna end us for a sec. Dabi, that guy makes me wanna vomit. Izuku, I'm really sorry about him, things just haven't been going his way in the past few months. Give him some time and he'll warm up to the idea. Dabi, fine, I guess we can wait. Anyway, who are you anyway, kid? He said you're the summoner that made those monsters appear. Izuku, I didn't actually create them, the credit goes to my partner here. Monstrox, nice to meet you, I am Monstrox, though I also go by the Book of Monsters and the Cloud of Monstrox. Himiko, ooh, talking book, that's so cool. Do you bleed? Monstrox, no, I'm a book, I can't bleed. Izuku, he used to be a human until his power was split into 12 books. I'm something of a wizard's apprentice for him. Izuku and Monstrox explain Monstrox's origin and their end goal to change society. Himiko, whoa, that sounds amazing. Dabi, I'll believe it when I see it. Izuku, oh, I never told you my name, sorry. My name is Izuku Midoriya. Himiko, that's a really cute name, can I call you Izu? Izuku, Himiko, please? Izuku, okay. Himiko, yay. Kurogiri was silent for a moment, but then he spoke. Kurogiri, shall we get back to you about recruitment at a later date? I believe our leader knows what he has to do. That's why he left as he did. He understands his circumstances. All Might, then the hero Ender, he's been humbled twice very recently. I'm sure he will bring you an answer. One that will satisfy both of you, as well as his own desires. A few hours later Tamura returned, and he seemed happy, almost like he made a revelation. Izuku, so, how was your walk? Tamura, it was very informative. I ran into that Bakugo kid at the mall, and now I realize something. Kurogiri, and what would that be, young master? Tamura, I had convictions and ideals from the beginning. I just didn't know. Something has changed. The only real difference is now I know what I'm working toward. To create a world where people won't have to suffer under the thumb of corruption. That's what drives me. From this day forward, I will call it my conviction. Everything is the Hero Commission's fault. In an unknown location. Dr. Hm, you seem oddly happy today, Master. Is it because the League of Villains roster continues to grow steadily? Defo coughs, that's not why, Doctor. It's because Tamura Shigaraki has finally found his conviction. The League of Villains needs people who will get behind his principles. Not only that, But Izuku Midoriya's bond with him will help him to achieve not only their own goals but the goals of everyone who wishes to be free from the Hero Commission's oppression. I'll leave all of the decisions to them for now. If Tamura asks for help, then of course, I'll step in and guide him. That's not a problem as I see it. In fact, I've been waiting for the day when he seeks my aid. I'm preparing for him to become the next me. My successor. Doctor, and what of Monstrox? Should we be concerned about him? AFO, no, like how I'm training Tamura to be my successor, he's training Izuku to be his, and when the time comes, these two will return order to this broken society. Meanwhile back at UA. Nizu, why did they just give us this book? Aizawa, not sure, the inscription said it was called the Book of Deception. Midnight, well, let's see what it's about. Nizu opens the book. Nizu, fooled you again, suckers? The book dissolves into nothingness. Power loader, it was a decoy, they must have swapped it for the real one. Nizu, which means the villains have only gotten stronger. AM, they also took something else from Dave's office, a snow globe with a black castle in it. Ectoplasm, why would they do that? Back to the bar. Izuku was holding the snow globe that they took from my island. Izuku, to think it was in David Shield's possession, I'm surprised he kept it. Monstrox, to him, it's just a trinket, but we know what is really inside it. Let's not use it yet, let's surprise the rest of the league another time. They smile at their success looking over the black castle in the snow globe. Preparations were being made to attack the training camp. Izuku and Monstrox were heading to Mount Fuji where reports of earthquakes were occurring. They brought a monitor so that the league could see what they were doing and show the new members what they needed to find. Izuku, so hot. How can it be so hot? Mount Fuji hasn't erupted in years, and now suddenly it's about to become active again. Monstrox, sniffing we're here because I smell an evil book? Izuku, yeah, but still, if this heat gets any worse, not only will I die of heat stroke, but the eruption could destroy the country and end thousands of lives. Monstrox, yeah, well, no one said that finding them would be easy. Don't worry, once we get the book, things might cool down. Sniffing go thataway. The evil mobile and monsters turn right. Monstrox, it was here. Izuku, so this was where your castle used to be? Monstrox, the redoubt of ruination. My great castle. I was one of the greatest, most powerful magic users that ever lived. Izuku, you must miss those days, huh? Monstrox, yeah. But hey, once I get a body back, I'll be able to enjoy everything I missed out on if I still had a body. Sniffs yes. It's here. The Book of Destruction. Izuku, excellent, with its power, we'll be one step closer to our goal. Monstrox, and it'll make monsters that are incredibly destructive. We can use it to attack the training camp. They climbed off the evil mobile and proceeded to walk forward until they found the crater opened and lava was now visible. They continued to walk until they found a part of the volcano's magma had created a bridge, and on the other side was a book. Monstrox, there it is, the Book of Destruction. The Book of Destruction was orange with yellow markings, along with the equally short arrows giving off the appearance of a sun. The symbol inside was 3 triangles which took the appearance of a hexagon which symbolized destruction. Izuku quickly goes across to the book. Izuku, it's destroying everything around it. It looks dangerous. Monstrox, no, it looks delicious. Go get it. Izuku picked up the book, which was surprisingly heavier than it looked, and read through it, taking notes with his notebook. He then chucks the book over to Monstrox, who proceeds to eat it. Monstrox, scrumptious. Complex. Full-bodied. Fruity, but with a hint of sulfur. Burping and coughing woe. As he coughs and burps, he accidentally slams against the bookkeeper and knocks him unconscious and landing face first to the ground. Izuku got back to Monstrox and turned him over only to recoil from surprise. Monstrox, destroy. Heavy breathing destroy. Monstrox's eyes turned red with all that destructive power coursing through him. Izuku then regains his composure. Izuku, you got it. Izuku opens Monstrox on the destruction section and proceeds with the summoning. Izuku, monsters, here's the new ploy, come out of that book and let's destroy. 3 new monsters emerged from the book. They were around the same size as Burnsy. and Sparks, with their heads looking like skulls, they had red crystal-like spikes all over their body, with the larger ones being on their backs. In place of hands, they had boulder-like fists which caused the ground to crack as one slammed it against the ground. They were called Infernox. Izuku, oh, this is gonna be so much fun. They return to the base and see that there are some new faces in the group, with Himiko and Dabi wearing new clothes. Himiko wears the same outfit but with a few additional gadgets: her piped black mask, the green boxes of knives strapped around her thighs, a blue utility belt around her waist with more boxes attached to it on either side. The most distinguishing feature is the loose black mask she wears around her neck, which is decorated with pieces of pale gray metal in the shape of a carnivorous grin. 3 large silver canisters are attached to the sides of her mask. The needles poking out connect to the 2 larger cylinders strapped to the back of her belt. This is the mechanism by which Himiko uses to suck people's blood for her quirk. Himiko, well, Izu, what do you think? Izuku, it's very creative and a good use for your quirk. Himiko, yeah, but this is not what I had in mind. They changed the design, but if it makes you happy, then I'm happy too. Dabi's apparel is updated, now consisting of a large dark blue knee-length overcoat with 2 large metal cuffs at the end of each elbow-length sleeve and a white stitch design on each of his shoulders. The coat has 3 ripped hems, granting the appearance of 4 coattails. His shirt and belt stay the same, but he replaces his pants with a larger pair of a darker color and his shoes with black boots. Dabi, glad you're back, kid. We saw what you did. Izuku, thanks Dabi, that's just one step closer to freeing this country from corruption. So can you guys introduce me to the team? Dabi, sure, this is Jin Babaigawara, his alias is Twice. His quirk is called Double, which allows him to create clones of anyone he wants, with the only drawbacks being that he needs exact measurements of the subject and that the clones aren't as durable as the original. He suffered from a past trauma that caused him to develop multiple personality disorder, making him conflicted with himself. He is a rather well-built man with blonde hair and gray-blue eyes. He has a large scar splitting his forehead from a past incident. He has visible traces of facial hair over his mouth and at the bottom of his chin. His villain costume was a black and gray bodysuit that covered his body completely, along with gray boots. The upper half of his signature mask is gray with white eye sockets, while the lower half covering his mouth is black. He also sports red and green wristbands in which he stores his measuring tapes. Most of his suit is black except for the section over his lower legs and the gray designs that appear to form a T and W over his chest. The T is formed by a horizontal line crossing his upper torso and a vertical line ascending from the abdomen. Another line snakes down to his lower torso and splits down to his thighs, then climbs to his hips, forming a W. Twice, hey there, it's nice to meet you / no it isn't. Monstrox, I see what you mean, but he can be useful to us. Izuku, well, it's nice to meet you, Jin. Dabi, next we have Shuichi Iguchi, alias Spinner. His quirk is called Gecko, and as the name implies it gives him the appearance and powers of a gecko. He's very supportive of Stain's ideals. He is a young man with a reptile-like appearance, with bright green scales for skin and a face shaped like that of a lizard. His hair is relatively long and swept backward and is a desaturated pinkish-purple in color, standing out from the rest of his colors. In reflection of his great admiration towards Stain, he wears clothes similar to his: a sleeveless shirt and dark, baggy pants with brown holsters around his thighs, black boots and pale, metallic knee guards. He wears a mask made of a long, white tattered strip of cloth, similar to Stain, with goggles on his forehead, a red scarf and bandages wrapped around both his arms, partially covered by black wristbands. He also wears 2 belts, with one that carry a second blade, a blue and white polka chest armor, and also carried an enormous sword on his back that was made out of many smaller blades bound together, until it was destroyed, in which later he carries a large, yet reasonably sized sword instead. Spinner, I take it you're this monster summoner duo we've heard so much about? Izuku, you'd be correct. In any case, it's still nice to meet you. Dabi, alright, up next is Atsuhiro Seiko, also known as Mr. Compress, or just Compress. His quirk is called Compress, and it allows him to compress anything he touches into a marble. He used to be a stage magician, so he's good at using misdirection. He is a tall, slim man with pale skin and brown eyes that are semicircular and slightly slanted inwards, and he has a notably pointed nose. He wears a combination of a mask, balaclava, and a hat. Underneath his mask reveals that he has short black eyebrows and a head of curly brown hair, similar in shade to his eyes. In his villain attire, he wears a dark orange shirt with the collar left upturned, a green striped biolo necktie with an oval-shaped azure brooch hanging around his neck, a black waistcoat, and black dress pants. He wears knee-high white boots with wedged heels and black toe caps, plain dark red gloves, a tall brown top hat, a red ribbon tied around it, and a pale feather sticking out on the left. Over his head, he wears a black balaclava with a hole for his mouth as well as his eyes, over which he wears one of the multiple white masks he owns, each with a different black geometric design. In his first appearance, he also wears a dark yellow, double-breasted overcoat with buttoned shoulder tabs and a high collar, which reaches below his knees, and he additionally carries a silver walking stick with a gold handle. Mr. Compress, it is quite an honor to meet both of you. I hope we can get along. Izuku, I hope so too. You'd be surprised at what we can do. Dabi, our next member is calling himself Mustard. We don't really know his real name. All we know is that his quirk is called Gas, which releases a very strong knockout gas, and he holds some sort of grudge, and he hates the students from UA school for their simplistic way of fighting, rushing without strategy, and yet having the best of reputation among the world. He is a skinny, young man with short, wavy, light brown hair, tan skin, and brown eyes. He wears a black Gakurin school uniform along with teal gloves and white shoes. Mustard sports a green gas mask that completely covers his face, attached to 2 oxygen tanks that he carries on his back. Izuku, someone who prefers strategy over just attacking without any knowledge of your opponent. I can respect that. Monstrox, yeah, a fight may take longer if you use strategy, but at least it won't put you at risk. Mustard, as someone who prefers to learn about their enemies before attacking, I hold you in high regard. Dabi, up next we have Kenji Hikishi. Her alias is Magna, and her quirk is called Magnetism. It allows her to apply strong magnetic polarity to people around her within a 4.5-meter radius. She could magnetize a person's entire body or specific portions. Men are polarized south, and women are polarized north. The drawback is that she can't use it to magnetize herself. Also, don't let her appearance fool you. She's actually a transgender. She is a woman with quite a wide, muscular build. Her shoulder-length hair is smooth and a reddish magenta color. Her rather square jaw is also thinly covered in facial hair. Her lips are notably big, appearing to be similar to the boy from Class 1A, Rikido Sato's, just slightly more pink-tinted in color. She wears triangular, white-framed sunglasses, obscuring her eyes. Along with these, she also wears a dark orange shirt, which is unbuttoned, revealing the white V-neck she has on underneath, blue jeans with a belt, and plain dark brown espadrilles on her feet. Izuku, well, it's nice to meet you, Magna. Magna, you as well, though in all honesty, I never expected your partner to be a book. Monstrox, I'm not really mad about that. Dabi, anyways, there's no need to introduce the other two since they are well-known criminals, so you should have some knowledge of them. The other two are villains that are well-known on the news, and they both make Izuku feel uncomfortable. The first was Goto Imasuji, or the well-known serial ender, muscular, whose quirk allowed him to augment his strength with muscle fibers. The other was Moonfish, a death row inmate with cannibalistic urges and a quirk that allows him to elongate his teeth. Muscular is a large, bulky, and highly muscular man set wide with short, spiky, sandy blonde hair and tiny black eyes. He has a large scar across the left side of his face, his left eye replaced with a prosthetic one, and another, smaller scar on the right side of his forehead. His outfit comprises a black hooded cloak and a white hockey mask with multiple holes. Underneath this, he wears a red tank top, a dark jacket that hangs around his waist, dark green pants, and black knee-high boots. Muscular, so you two are the ones that everyone's been talking about. Not much to look at. Monstrox, I would say something bad about you, but I'm too terrified to say anything. Izuku stayed silent, but they could see him quivering in fear. Moonfish is a reasonably tall man who stands over most of his allies in terms of height. He has fair skin and black eyes. He is later shown to have a large cut on his left ear and a shaven head. Most of his physical body cannot be seen because his suit encompasses his entire body. Moonfish wears a black straitjacket that only leaves his mouth exposed. The suit is held together by black restraints decorated with red spikes. These same restraints connect to metal clamps that cover Moonfish's head and keep his lips open, often causing him to drool. Other straps cross Moonfish's torso, waist, and the top of his boots. Moonfish, do the job. Do the job. Izuku, he may be a B-rank villain, but he's also a dangerous death row inmate. There are a lot of risks involved if he is here. Tamura, don't worry, Master has him under control. Now then, let's discuss our mission. They discuss the plan to attack a training camp owned by the Wild Pussy Cats and kidnap Katsuki Bakugo. In this they aren't going to go after Ragdoll, since the WWPC are real heroes that aren't associated with the Hero Commission. The meeting ends and Izuku goes over to Tamura, Kurogyari, and AFO to share his opinion. Izuku, Kaken won't join us. Tamura, what makes you so certain of that? Izuku, I've known him since childhood. He only cares about being number one, and he's too arrogant to want to join the league. Kurogyari, even so, our mission is to capture him. AFO, and it's your knowledge of the boy that will serve us the most in this endeavor. Izuku, yes sir, I understand. But I would also like to say I don't trust Muscular to go along with the plan. After all, the son of the water hose duo happens to be the nephew of Mandalay and is living with the WWPC. AFO, and even if that happens, I'm sure All Might's successor will take care of him. Izuku, yes sir, I understand. Kurogyari opens a portal and they end up at their location. The forest where classes 1A and 1B will be doing their training. The Vanguard Action Squad set up camp while they waited for the students to arrive. They were all enjoying each other's company, especially Izuku, who got along with everyone, except Muscular and Moonfish. It was now nighttime and they were all sitting by the fire, which was well hidden from view. They were all relaxing until Himiko noticed Izuku looked upset, while harmonica music played. Himiko, hey Izu, what's wrong? Izuku, Sai, I'm not sure about this whole evil thing. Can we stop it with the harmonica? I'm having a moment of doubt here. Izuku was yelling at Monstrox, who was the one playing the harmonica. Monstrox, spits the harmonica out. You don't like that I'm playing some sad music for you? You poor little baby. Izuku, sorry, it's just a little annoying, especially since you're playing it right next to me. Oh, the fire's dying. Brighten it up while I think back on my life. Monstrox, sure. Spits a fireball onto the firewood, relighting the fire. Izuku, I lived with my mother in Mizudafu, and I always had a lot of admiration for heroes, but my favorite was All Might. I had a very happy life, but that all changed after we went to the quirk doctor. Izuku, the day I came back to school, the truth about my quirklessness spread like wildfire. Kaken started calling me Deku, which meant useless. He started bullying and picking on me, and I couldn't even defend myself when it happened. He even encouraged my other classmates to do the same. They laughed and mocked me at every turn for the past 11 years. But the final straw happened when we were in middle school, on the day we were deciding our future careers when we finally graduated. What Izuku told them made the group feel bad for him, apart from Moonfish, who was fixated on doing his job and eating flesh due to his cannibalistic urges, and Muscular, who just didn't care. Izuku, I always wanted to lash out and attack Kaken in my anger, but I didn't have the backbone to even do it. I still don't feel bad all the time. Monstrox, well, you should. You're a good kid, but you let those kids walk all over you, which is awful. And I know bad. You know what you need? Izuku, career counseling? Monstrox, no, kid, you need more training. Come on, stop feeling sorry for yourself and be monstrous. I wrote a book on it, right? Kurogyari, well, it will still be some time before they arrive, so a little training wouldn't hurt. They head into the forest where Monstrox is talking to Izuku. Monstrox, that's it, I'm the Book of Monsters, so let's make some badness. The bookkeeper opens Monstrox up and Izuku seems a little more at ease. Izuku then waves the staff over the pages and summons some monsters, including Burnsy and Sparks. Izuku, hee. I do like making monsters, little ones, big ones, and all the nasty ones in between. But the squad watched in awe as the lava monsters emerged from Monstrox and manifested in front of them. The bookkeeper closes Monstrox and then faces Izuku. Izuku, okay, now what? Monstrox, you become badder and badder. You just need some practice, that's all. Singing learn to be evil. You gotta learn to be evil. Don't be a schlemazel. Learn to be nasty. Get awful real fasty. 'Cause being bad is so neato. Yes, being bad is real meano. As he sings, Izuku orders the monsters to cause some minor disturbances in the forest that was barely noticeable to anyone. End of song. Izuku, you know what I've learned? Monstrox, that being bad is fun? Izuku, no, that you're a terrible singer. Monstrox, stop fooling around. You can't stop at just being bad, you always gotta set your sights higher. There's lots of people that treated you like their punching bag, and that Bakugo kid, oh, he was the worst one of them all. Izuku, yeah, it makes me feel. Monstrox, sad? More harmonica? Maybe another song? I'm on it. Just as he was about to start playing the harmonica, Izuku stopped him. Izuku, no. It makes me angry. I want revenge. Izuku's eyes glowed with his fury, and Monstrox couldn't be happier. Monstrox spits out the harmonica, now that's what I'm talking about. Izuku, and not just on anyone. I want revenge on the very person that was the cause of all my suffering. What? Katsuki Bakugo. A monitor comes on and Tamura's voice comes from it. Tamura, well, you'll get your chance if this mission goes according to plan. And Sensei heard everything, he no longer wants us to recruit him, he wants you to do what as you please to him. Izuku smiled with glee, after so long, he'll finally get his revenge on his tormentor. Time passed and Class 1A arrived as expected. They watched the teenagers race towards the main building. Izuku watched each of the students use their quirks wheel, but he fumed at the sight of Bakugo. It was now nighttime, and the squad planned to strike the following night, during the test of courage, since they would already have been exhausted from their training. Izuku, this plan cannot fail, but how are we going to prepare for the quirks we didn't see during the sports festival? Monstrox, and no problem. Summon Laveria, super spy. Sneaky as all get out. The monster was a woman with a toned muscular build wearing chest armor and waist armor. She also wore a black hooded cloak that reached just halfway above her ankles, along with ankle guards. Izuku, what the heck? Red Rover, send Laveria over. Izuku waves the staff over Monstrox and Laveria emerges. Laveria, nice to get out. Some of the boys started blushing at how attractive she looked, apart from Izuku, who was just overstimulated since he'd never been around a woman like her before. Laveria, so you're Izuku. The other monsters talk about you all the time. They say you're the most powerful, evil, and villainous kid ever. Izuku, it's nice to meet you, Miss Laveria. Sorry, but I'm not ready for any relationships just yet. Laveria, that's okay, besides, you're too young for me anyway. Anyway, what's my mission? Izuku, alright, we need you to spy on the students and gather information about what their quirks can do since we didn't see all of them use their quirks during the sports festival. Laveria, no problem, see you all later. Lavea then leaves the team and Izuku finally calms down. Twice, she's one hot monster. Everyone turned to Twice in surprise. Twice, what? During that time Izuku and Monstrox explored the rest of the forest until they found another Rogel. Izuku, another Rogel, perfect. Monstrox, yes, it's the forbidden power, shocking scare. It can turn even the bravest warrior into a whimpering coward. The symbol of the forbidden power was a blue skull with its lower jaw at the bottom and electricity sparks in its mouth. Monstrox takes on his cloud form and zaps the Rogel to life, who then gives the forbidden power to Izuku. Izuku, alright, let's test it out. Izuku points it at one of the Rogels and uses shocking scare. The Rogel suddenly looked very afraid and then ran away. Monstrox, oh, scaring a Rogel is no easy feat, this power is frightfully good. Izuku, yes, but I also noticed that it wears off quicker than the other forbidden powers. But it still works. Monstrox, now, let's head back to the others. They do so, and when they arrive, Laveria returns with the information she's gathered. It was nighttime and Class 1A was doing the test of courage. They all headed out to do their assignments. Izuku and Monstrox summon some destruction monsters and a few Infernoxes to help deal with them. They then notice Muscular was heading for a mountain. They follow behind, making sure to stay out of sight. As they followed behind, Muscular, Monstrox picked up the scent of another book. Monstrox, hold on kid, I smell another book, over there. Izuku looks in the indicated direction and sees the book. The book was green with 2 long arrows pointing diagonally up left and bottom right, and 2 short arrows that pointed diagonally up right and bottom left. The symbol in the center was 4 claws and claw marks moving to the bottom right, which symbolized vengeance. Monstrox, yes, the Book of Vengeance. Izuku reads through it and takes notes with his notebook, and was about to feed it to Monstrox until he stopped him. Monstrox, hold on, Izuku, the power of destruction is already overwhelming these heroes, save it for later. Izuku, got it. Izuku then puts the Book of Vengeance away and continues to summon more monsters when needed. They then continue to follow behind Muscular all the way to the top of the mountain. They see Muscular is about to attack a kid when suddenly Melissa's shield comes in and protects him. The fight goes the same as canon, only with Melissa taking Izuku's place. Once the fight was over, Izuku and Monstrox stepped out. Monstrox, I must admit, that was impressive. Melissa, Izuku, you were able to defeat Muscular. Despite your injuries, you still managed to survive. Koda, stay away from her. Izuku just walks past the boy and kneels down to Melissa using a healing spell he recently learned. Izuku, there, you should be all better now. Melissa, are you helping me? Izuku, I have my reasons, all you need to know is, I don't intend to be your enemy. But I'm afraid we'll have to take our leave. A portal opens behind Izuku and Monstrox. Izuku, I'd suggest you go save your bird-headed and 6-armed classmates before they end up as a villain's meal. They walk through the portal and it closes just as Melissa got back to her feet. With Izuku. Tamura, so, how did it go? Izuku, just as I thought, Muscular went off on his own and nearly ended someone. Tamura, oh well, he was too dangerous to keep around anyway. In any case, we'll get Bakugo for you sooner than later. Izuku, good, I also got the location of Mustard if you want to pull him out. Tamura, his quirk is definitely useful and the tech you recommended for him might give us an upper hand, so I'll have Kurogiri retrieve him. The attack went the same as canon, only with the lava monsters present and Melissa taking Izuku's place. The team returns to the base with an unconscious Bakugo. Tamura, mission accomplished. So Izuku, do you want to make him suffer now? Izuku, no, it wouldn't be as satisfying, I want him to know what's going on. For now, we'll wait for him to wake up. In the meantime, I should have shocking scare transferred by now. Kurogiri, by the way Izuku, why didn't you send any stone monsters to assist them? Monstrox, we had them working on another project, which will hopefully bear fruits. Just as he said that General Garg comes in. General Garg, Lord Izuku, Lord Monstrox, we found them. They looked at each other and smiled. They head off to a mine at the base of a mountain. Izuku goes over to where they were mining and removes some rocks. Monstrox, what is it? What is it? Izuku, it's a mouth. More rocks break off an ear. Suddenly the wall falls apart revealing 3 stone statues, one of which was much bigger. Izuku, the legend is true. They are here. Monstrox, I knew it, we found the 3 brothers. Izuku, General Garg, have the stone monsters dig them out. Garg, yes sir. Twice. You know, I'm a pretty good sculptor, I could make you better statues than. No I can't. Izuku, these aren't statues. The 3 brothers are terrible granite golems, who nearly defeated Malik the Malign. Monstrox, rogue, quick-tempered, and quick on his feet. So fast they said he could actually dodge a magic spell. Rex, master strategist, and the most hard-hitting hammer swinger the world has ever seen. Rumble, the strength of 20 men, totally immune to pain. The greatest warriors in history. Spinner, and yet here they are. Monstrox, even Malik couldn't defeat M. So he buried them under this mountain. Izuku, we're gonna dig them out. Carefully, exactly as they used to be. Monstrox, now get to work, unless any of you want to take their place under the mountain. The stone monsters worked and continued to carefully dig out the brothers. Izuku, once they carve them out and you reanimate them with your lightning, Monstrox, they'll make things very rocky for the heroes. They both laughed a little until Izuku realized that the pun wasn't so good. Izuku, make things very rocky. Really? Monstrox, oh, don't be so stone-faced. They both laughed again. This time they were enjoying it, and they were joined by the rest of the league. They were able to free Rug and Rex, as well as the upper part of Rumble's head. Monstrox then takes on his cloud form and reanimates them. Rug, bury us under a mountain? Like that would ever work? Rex, what is going on here? Rumble, can't talk but tries to break free from the wall as the monsters work on freeing him. Monstrox, short version, I am Monstrox and this is my cohort, Izuku, and these are our allies, the League of Villains. We dug you up and brought you back to life, to serve us. Rug, sorry, we're not the following type, so? Tamura, oh, got an independent streak do you? Well fine, how about we just rebury you? Rex, now, hey, we're willing to learn. Monstrox, Kurogyri, would you mind informing AFO about our progress while the others work on freeing their big brother? Kurogyri, very well, I shall return momentarily. Kurogyri leaves as the stone monsters continue to dig Rumble out. Moments later he returns to see the head is almost free, but just as things are looking up, the rest of the wall crumbles, and Rumble's head falls out, without his body. Rex, hey Rumble, you lose some weight. Rumble, I keep joking little man. I can still bite off your feet. Monstrox, Gore, somebody better fix this or everyone responsible for this is gonna be the next group of people buried under a mountain. Now we gotta get rolling and fast. Twice, rolling? I have an idea / no I don't. Twice creates some clones and then starts working on Rumble. They are all confused until they see what he did. He gave Rumble wheels. Izuku, Jean, you are brilliant. Rumble's powerful strength, combined with the momentum of a vehicle. Now that's what I'm talking about. Monstrox, well, let's head back to base and we still have to transfer Shocking Scare. Izuku, right. They all return to base and once they rested up, they head back to Mount Thunderstrox. Monstrox, transfer Forbidden Power. The tablet melts and flows through the staff down to the floor and then up to the 5th stone pillar. Izuku, all my enemies will not bear the frightening power of Shocking Scare. Once the transference is complete, the symbol on the tablet appears on the 5th standing stone. The duo then laugh maniacally as Monstrox's storm dies down. Monstrox absorbs the power from the stone pillars, then flies down to the base of the mountain and strikes it with his lightning, causing it to crumble. Once it finished, what they saw was beyond amazing. Inside the mountain was a large stone head, and the stone circle stood on top of the head like a crown of sorts. This is what the forbidden powers are being used for. Tamura, whoa, that is one big monster. Monstrox, exactly, this is our ultimate goal. The Colossus of ultimate destruction. We gotta get enough forbidden powers to fill in the standing stones and complete him. Defo, then what? Monstrox, then the stone Colossus will come to life and we will use it to attack the Hero Commission, making them plead for mercy, or they will be destroyed. Izuku, so long as we free the country from the Commission's corruption, I'm willing to do so. Now, let's head back to base, it's payback time. Laughs maniacally. Tamura, isn't that strange? The heroes are becoming the bad guys. Seems like they're not dealing with this very well at all. So much criticism. But everyone makes a mistake or two, right? It's not like they're supposed to be perfect. Modern-day heroes sure have it rough. Don't you think, Bakugo? Spinner, once a hero receives payment to protect people, they aren't a real hero anymore. That's what Stain's actions taught us. However, some heroes donate that payment to charities or use it to help families. This of course gives us a different view as to what a fake hero really is. Someone who flaunts their status and uses it for selfish desires. This includes only going after fame and recognition. This is something Izuku taught us. Tamura, a hero in this current system only cares about money and glory. And since society buys into those idiotic rules, anyone deemed a loser is shoved aside. So, we want to pose some questions. What is a hero? What is justice? Is this society truly fair? Soon, everyone will be asking. That's when we'll know we've won. And you like winning, don't you? Bakugo growls. Tamura, we were originally going to recruit you, but after what Izuku told us about his past now we just want to watch you suffer. Dabi. Let him go. Dabi, you know he'll just fight. Tamura, it's fine. Izuku's already dealt with that problem. Besides, he's smart enough to know he can't take us all, right? After all, UA students are so clever. Dabi, hey twice. You do it. Twice, sure thing. / no way. Dabi, do it. Twice, Omen. Twice goes over to Bakugo to remove the restraints. Mr. Compress, I do apologize for such forceful methods. But please understand that we aren't some kind of unruly mob committing crimes without a third act in mind. We didn't kidnap you by accident. Tamura, even though our backgrounds are different, everyone here has suffered. Because of people, rules, and heroes who try to hold us back. I'm sure you're the same. Once he was free, Bakugo shoved twice aside and then tried to use his quirk on Tamura, but it only came out as a punch which knocked the hand off his face. Twice. Shigaraki. Bakugo, I'm done listening to your endless talking. Can you not get to the point, or do you just like your own voice? Basically, what you're saying is you want to cause some trouble and you want me for something. Well, screw you. I like to win. I want to win just like All Might. No matter what you have to offer me, that will never change, do you understand? And what did you do to my quirk? Izuku, don't go blaming him for that. That was all me. I injected you with a drug that temporarily deactivates a person's quirk. I knew you'd try something like this, so I injected it into you while you were still unconscious. As for the new reason we brought you here, well, for me to get some much-needed payback. Bakugo, and what are you gonna do about it, Deku? Izuku, smiles, hold this please. The bookkeeper takes the staff from Izuku as he stands up and walks towards Bakugo. Izuku, Tamura, why don't you sit down for a bit? I'll take care of this. Tamura, sure. Tamura picks up the hand and puts it back on his face before returning to a seat. Bakugo, you think you can take me down? You're just a quirkless nobody. Izuku, I know everything about you, Kaken, how you act, how you talk, and how you fight, for instance. Bakugo then attacks Izuku. But Izuku counters it and punches him in the gut. Izuku, you always lead with a right hook. And you're always reliant on your quirk. Take away both of your best techniques and you're vulnerable. Now then, let's get started. Izuku starts beating up Bakugo fiercely, making him bleed from his mouth. Punching him in the head and gut, as well as breaking his arms and legs, but not to the point of losing function. Izuku then finished and towered over Bakugo. Izuku, how does it feel, Kaken, to be beaten by someone stronger than you? This is how I felt for 10 years. This is my way of getting back at you for tormenting me for all those years. Bakugo, Gore, you're still just a quirkless Deku. Izuku, I looked up to you for 10 years. I cared about you, even on that day you fell. I offered you help, but you pushed me away. I thought we were friends, but I thought wrong. And you know what else? I'm done wanting to be a hero if it means I'll end up like those fakes in the Hero Commission. I'm going to be my own hero, a hero for the people who suffered under the corruption of this broken society. A hero for the villains. Hearing this surprised the villains. They could tell Izuku was telling the truth, and this made them all hopeful for a better future. Izuku, while I'm at it, I might as well explain how I was able to do all those things before. This isn't a quirk, everyone just assumes that anything that appears strange might be one. But this is something that has existed long before modern society. This is true magic, and I'm thankful to have it, since it's much better than anything a quirk could offer. And I owe it all to Monstrox for teaching me. Monstrox was happy to hear his young apprentice say those things, and he was proud to be his mentor. Izuku, oh, and you think we're villains? You're dead wrong, you are a real villain, faker. That last word struck Bakugo to his core. It made him feel a mix of emotions. He then looked back on his past, every time he bullied someone, every time he used his quirk against someone else, and every time he hurt Izuku, rejecting him and hurting him. Izuku, I have nothing more to say. Izuku returns to his seat and takes back the staff. Tamura, now then. The heroes said they'd continue their investigation of our group, so we don't have time to stand here and talk. Lend me your power. The voice of AFO emerged from the monitor. AFO, that is a wise decision, Tamura Shigaraki. Bakugo got up but very weakly. Bakugo, a master? I thought you were the boss around here. But you're a sidekick. Tamura, Kurogyri. Compress. It's time to put him back to sleep. Mr. Compress, I can't believe he's such a bad audience member. It's almost impressive. If you want me to listen, then get on your knees and beg. Pretend Izuku Monstrox and the bookkeeper are there. Monstrox, held by a tree, quite ironic considering I'm a book and we're made from trees. Tamura, mind after I went through all the trouble of preparing this, the final boss goes and shows up on my doorstep. Everyone's been restrained. There's no easy way to escape. It can't be helped. So, they've got backup, huh? What we do? Tamura, Kurogyri. Warp over as many as you can. The Nomu, right? But nothing happens. Tamura, what are you waiting for, damn it? Kurogyri, I'm sorry, Tamura Shigaraki. The Nomus were supposed to be in a fixed location, but they're gone. Tamura, huh? It seems you have a lot to learn, Shigaraki. You're still green. Your little league underestimated all of us. The soul of this young man. The police's diligent investigations. And our righteous fury. Enough is enough. Your game has come to an end, Tamura Shigaraki. Spinner, All Might please. You're the only hero staying respected. You are worthy. Tamura, you think it's over? Don't be stupid. I've only just begun to play. Justice. You created a garbage society by lifting up such ridiculous ideals. That's why I targeted you, All Might. It's why I started gathering people to my cause. You think this is the end? Then you've lost. Kurogyri. Just then a red tendril pierced Kurogyri in the chest, knocking him unconscious. Magna, what just happened? I couldn't see anything. Did they end him? Edgeshot. I played around with his insides and made him fall unconscious. Ninpo, Thousand Sheet Pierce. He was such a nuisance. He had to sleep. GT, weren't you listening earlier? You'll all be better off if you take us seriously. Kenji Hikishi. Atsuhiro Seiko. Shuichi Iguchi. Himiko Toga. Jean Babaigawar. Whatever Mustard's name is. Izuku Midoriya. Though they had little time and information, the police worked through the night to discover your true identities. Do you understand? There's nowhere left for any of you to run. So, Shigaraki. One question. Where's your boss hiding? Before anyone spoke, they heard some laughter. It came from Izuku. Izuku, amazing. Heroes? Izuku, all of you, are amazing, no corruption at all. That makes me happy. GT, what are you talking about? Izuku, haven't any of you stopped and noticed what the Hero Commission has been doing behind your back? The heroes that operate under them are one of the main reasons for there being so many villains now. Kamui Woods, that's a lie. Izuku, really, then where were the heroes when we needed them? When we were abandoned, abused, discriminated against, and looked down upon by those who were stronger than us. Every hero that came to us only saw us as a nuisance. They wouldn't even give it a second glance. They left us on the streets and abandoned the people they were supposed to help. The heroes that work for the Hero Commission, all of them, corrupted and self-indulgent. They turned us into villains. The heroes looked at them with a look of shock and surprise. Some knew that the Hero Commission was working behind their backs, but to learn that they were the main cause for the creation of these so-called villains. Izuku, I was the latest. Thanks to the discrimination of my schools and society, I was beaten to near death almost every day for 10 years. Don't believe me? Izuku then uses ravaging rot to rot the branches that were holding him. Just as the heroes were about to recapture him, he removes his shirt, revealing his body riddled with scars, some of which looked like they were from explosions. This sight horrified the heroes. Izuku, this is what this corrupt society has done to me. Whenever I asked for a hero's help, they'd either ignore me or just hurt me because of my quirklessness. You real heroes never even knew about this, and now you see just how much we have suffered. Are you worthy enough to call yourselves real heroes? Kamui sends more branches as Izuku puts his shirt back on, recapturing him. Izuku, you notice some of those scars were caused by explosions, and guess who did them? They turn to Bakugo, who is silent. Izuku, that's right, Bakugo was the one who did this to me. Don't blame me for all the injuries I've inflicted on him. That's nothing compared to how much I've suffered. The heroes couldn't believe it. A hero student caused all that to just one boy, and he was the most powerful in his class. This made All Might feel powerless to even save this broken boy. Izuku, he'll be fine. Eventually, the heroes will help. I'm sure that's what everyone thought as they looked away and ignored us. The world shouldn't be so unforgiving. We didn't do anything wrong back then, but now we are here for each other. Tamura looked at Izuku and he gave a tearful smile as it was the same words his master had told him when he was found. Tamura, this is not over. Just you wait. The game is still mine. Just know I'm not giving up my master's location. Now or ever. Suddenly black slime portals appear behind the bar as two Nomu come through. Kamui, Nomu. How'd they get here? What is this? GT, damn it, the shot. Stop Kurogyri. Edge shot, he's still out. This isn't his doing. GT, they keep on coming. More Nomu appears. AM, don't release them under any circumstances, got it? Kamui, right? Suddenly Bakugo starts regurgitating the same black slime. AM, Bakugo. Before All Might could grab him, he was warped away. No. The heroes start fighting the Nomu. Then Tamura uttered a single word. Tamura, master. Suddenly the whole league, including Izuku, Monstrox, and the bookkeeper, regurgitated the same black slime as it enveloped their bodies, and they disappeared. They then reappear in a different location, coughing up the slime. Spinner gags. Himiko, that was so gross. Twice. This black stuff reeks. I love it. Izuku, man, couldn't give us a warning, could you? Monstrox, gags, that was so gross, and I eat books for crying out loud. Bookkeeper, coughing, man, that was uncomfortable. Monstrox, wait, you can talk. Bookkeeper, yeah, sorry boss, I just never had anything to say. Monstrox, well, it's definitely a surprise, I'll have to get used to it eventually. The bookkeeper picks Monstrox up as they all turn to face AFO. Tamura, master. Izuku had read up on AFO when he joined up with the League. Despite information about him being erased, there were still some that were overlooked, and now he gets to meet the man in person. It's said that after being mortally injured by All Might years ago, AFO's face was entirely made up of scar tissue, extending from above his upper lip and covering his entire head and the back of his neck. As such, he had no visible nose, ears, hair, or eyes, though the outlines of his eye sockets were visible. AFO was blind but used a quirk to see, and he would sense the directions of vibrations in the area around him, similar to echolocation. There was a small hole in each palm of his hands, which is how he stole and transferred quirks. He now dons a navy blue, skull-like gas mask with angular tubes at the top, a wide collar-like life support system around his neck with additional pipes connecting in the front and back, presumably to help him breathe. You failed once more, Tamura. But you must not be discouraged. You'll try again. That's why I brought your associates back with you. Even this child, because you judged that he was an important piece on your game board. Holds out his hand, start over as many times as it takes. I am here to provide you with help. All of this is for you. Notices something, there you are. Suddenly All Might appeared and attacked AFO. But he was able to catch both his fists. I'll have you return my student, AFO. Have you come to KL me a second time, All Might? The power from both of them created a shockwave that sent the League and Bakugo away. FO, it took you long enough to find us. It's only 5 kilometers from the bar to here, and yet it was at least seconds after I sent the Nomus that you arrived. You've gotten weaker, All Might. AM, you're one to talk. It's kind of difficult to ignore that fancy life support mask you've got on. Aren't you overexerting yourself? I won't repeat the mistake I made 5 years ago. You hear me? I will take young Bakugo back. And I will make certain you're locked up for the rest of your sad life. Right along with your despicable League of Villains. FO activates spring-like limbs and air cannon and combine them with a kinetic booster and strength enhancer. FO, sounds like you've got your work cut out for you. This will be hard for us both. The blast was able to send All Might away, but they knew he'd be back. FO, HM Air Cannon plus Spring-like limbs. Kinetic Booster times 4. Strength Enhancer times 3. What a delightful combination. Maybe a few more enhancers next time. Bakugo, gasp All Might. FO, don't you worry. It'll take more than that to KO him. Get off the battlefield, Tamura. Monstrox, hold on, you'll need to boost yourself. Izuku. Izuku smiles and takes out the Book of Vengeance, which Bakugo sees. FO, what's that? Another evil book? Have you been holding out on me? Monstrox, no, just saving something that'll put you over the top, big guy. Everybody needs a push now and again. Izuku, eat up. Izuku passes the Book of Vengeance to Monstrox, who swallows it whole. He then turns to AFO, and he then shoots purple beams out of his eyes onto the ancient villain. Monstrox, now be vengeful. Suddenly AFO was filled with vengefulness, laughing manically. The magic then spreads to all the already summoned monsters. FO, now I finally get my revenge. FO uses Rivet Stab and pierces Kurogiri in the chest. FO, Kurogiri. Warp them away. Magna, be careful. One of the heroes messed with him and he's unconscious. I'm not sure what's going on, but if you can teleport, why don't you get us out of here? FO, my warp power is still new, Magna. There's much I need to learn about it. Its distance is limited, and while he can teleport to specific coordinates, I only transport people to and from my own location. Or, with focus, to or from someone I am very familiar with. That is all. It's easier to have Kurogiri do it. Suddenly Kurogiri's mist creates a large portal. AFO, forcible quirk activation. Leave this place. Tamura, what about you? They then hear All Might yelling as he rejoins the fight. FO, you're not thinking, Tamura. There remains much room for you to grow. You're mine. Tamura, master. Mr. Compress, let's go, Shigaraki. While our masked lead is keeping All Might entertained. Mr. Compress uses his quirk on Dabi and grabs him. Izuku, well, I'm not just going to let him fight alone, so I'll give him some backup. Bookkeeper, on it. Opens Monstrox. Izuku summons some destruction monsters, which were already by AFO's side, including 3 Infernoxes. Izuku, help AFO fight off All Might. They prepare to battle, with some of them keeping Bakugo occupied. Izuku then joins the rest of the league as they escape through the warp gate. Just before Izuku walks through, he hears AFO talk to him. AFO, Midoriya, take care of Tamura, help him to the best of your abilities, you're the kind of person he needs. Izuku, I won't let you down. Izuku then goes through as the warp gate closes. They now find themselves in what appears to be a lab. Monstrox, so, this is the secret base where the Nomus are created. You are correct. They turn around and see the doctor that was spoken about so much. Izuku's eyes widened once he saw him. It was Dr. Tsubasa, or more accurately Kyudai Garaki. He is a fairly old man of a portly and short stature. He is completely bald and has a very large and bushy mustache. As a villain, he wears a rather peculiar set of goggles that are shaped somewhat like gears, along with a white, buttoned-up lab coat. Izuku, I remember you. Garaki, Izuku, you were the one that gave me my quirk examination. Garaki, eyes widen, of course, I remember you. To think that after 11 years we meet again. You're not mad at me for telling you that you don't have a quirk. Izuku, nah, I never hated you, you were just doing your job. However, I am surprised to find that you've been working for AFO this whole time. Garaki, that's good. In any case, you'd better watch how the fight is going. Garaki turns on a monitor showing the fight. Just the scenes after AFO warps the league away. Tamura, no. He falls to the ground heartbroken that his sensei, his guardian, his father figure had been defeated by All Might. Izuku, I'm so sorry, Tamura. I should have left more monsters. Then maybe. Tamura, no, it's alright, Izuku, you did what you could. Even though Master was defeated, he was still able to defeat All Might. Society will now fall to pieces as the Hero Commission will start to make things worse. I heard what he told you, and I'm willing to learn from you. Mr. Compress, We can't stay here, they'll try to find this place. Spinner. Agreed, we'll need a new base of operation. But where? Izuku. Actually, we can help with that. The League was confused by this, but Izuku and Monstrox wanted to keep it a surprise for once Kurogyari and Dabi woke up. Once they did, they retrieved their vehicles and headed back to Mount Fuji. Magna. Why are we here? You don't really think we can make a base here, do you? Monstrox. Sure we can, but first, Izuku. Izuku, right. Izuku reaches into his bag and pulls out the snow globe they took from my island. Izuku, watch this. Izuku then threw the snow globe into the lava. It then started to boil and the ground shook. Out of the lava emerged a large castle, a lava-themed appearance that would strike fear into anyone foolish enough to approach. Monstrox, League of Villains, I present to you, the Redoubt of Ruination. Izuku, the heroes may have won the battle, but not the war. We'll get stronger as our numbers grow, and once we're ready, we will march into the city and bring the Hero Commission to its knees. Izuku and Monstrox laughs maniacally. The League was exploring their new base of operations, and they were all amazed by everything it had to offer. Tamura, this is unbelievable, a bit cliché for a villain base, but still it works. Izuku, glad you all like it. Oh, before I forget, we can't let the heroes find out about this place. Deception. The staff glows yellow illusion. Magic erupts from the staff and envelopes the whole castle. Izuku, there, I created an illusion that will hide this place from anyone who would try to look for us. Now then, on to other business. Monstrox, right, let's see what our new recruits are like. They head off to another room where they find Twice sculpting. Izuku, hey Twice, how are those monsters coming? Twice, great, and thanks for curing me of my multiple personality disorder. I feel a lot more calm without the voice talking, though it does still come out sometimes, but I'm sure we'll figure something out. Anyway, here you go. I only wish I had more time to sculpt more gnomes for you. Twice reveals what appeared to be stone sculptures of gnomes. Izuku, gnomes? Twice, you said gnome monsters that are welcoming and pointy, right? Izuku, no, I said new monsters. Monstrox, well, this could work too. Let me give them a jolt. Twice, this is great. Izuku, thanks anyway Jean, with most of us still recovering from the attack we'll need all the help we can get. In any case, if we're gonna win, we'll need to deal a crippling blow to the Hero Commission. Spinner, so what are you thinking? Izuku, the Hero Commission pays some of the heroes that work for them, so if we remove any financial influence they have, then they'll be crippled. Monstrox, I know a guy who'd be perfect for the job, General Magmar. He was my right-hand man. Take charge kinda guy. Tamura, a general? Monstrox, the best. Check page 38. General Magmar was a very well-built monster with large muscles. He had a long black ponytail and a metal mask that hid his mouth. He wore a red cape and a belt. His legs were hooves making him look like a satyr and they appeared to be made from hardened magma. Izuku waves the staff over the pages. Izuku, I want to go looting wide and far, so come on out, General Magmar. Magmar emerges from the pages ready to serve. Magmar, I'm at your command, oh evil one. Izuku, excellent. All right, first order of business. Since the castle hasn't been used in such a long time, we should start by getting more acquainted with our new home. As for you, it won't be long before the heroes discover our location, so I want you to prepare our defenses and establish traps for in case they arrive. We'll also need your tactical and strategic expertise to prepare for when we encounter any heroes. Magmar, very well, it shall be done. Monstrox, and while he's doing that, let's head out and find more evil books and forbidden powers. We're only halfway done from awakening the Colossus of ultimate destruction. Izuku, right? Though with our growing forces, it might be a good idea to make another mobile fortress. Monstrox, good idea. Did you hear that Twice? Twice, I'll get right on it. While Twice was working on the vehicles, the rest of the team headed out. They traveled a bit till they came to a cave near a forest, and inside was an evil book. The book was red with 2 arrows, medium-sized arrows pointing up and down, and 2 short arrows pointing left and right. The symbol in the center was a yellow diamond with markings that made it look like it was shining, which symbolized greed. Monstrox, whoa, what a find. The Book of Greed. You want dungeons filled with treasure? Well, you just hit the jackpot, my friends. Mr. Compress. Oh yes, I bet this will let me make greedy monsters that will fill the castle with gold and jewels and more gold. Monstrox. Greed. Greed is good. Izuku, and with this, we might have a way to cripple the hero commission. Monstrox. Oh, and Izuku, before I forget. Monstrox takes on his cloud form and flies above Izuku. Izuku. Monstrox, I don't know if I like where this is going. Monstrox then hits Izuku with magic lightning. Monstrox. Whoops, I hope I didn't hit him too hard. Hey old pal, you okay? Izuku's body gets covered in the same inky black substance that made him evil in the first place. It spread throughout his body until he was completely covered. Then it receded, revealing a new Izuku. Just the transformation. Izuku's hair was glowing along with his skin, making a jagged, star-like pattern, were several glowing green veins. Izuku laughs. Okay? Okay? I'm worse than okay. I'm terrible. The evil in me, like electricity. I want to scorch every end of this land from top to bottom. This new power feels amazing. I can't wait to use it. Izuku now spoke in his normal voice, but it was now distorted like he was talking through a voice synthesizer. Monstrox. Oh yeah, you're back, and badder than ever. They both laugh maniacally. Himiko. Whoa, I love the new look. Izuku. Why thank you, Himi. Himiko blushed as he gave her a gentle kiss. Dabi, so what's our next move? Izuku. First things first, we'll need to grow our army, and I think Monstrox knows where we can find some allies. Izuku takes the Book of Greed and reads through it, before giving it to the rest of the league. They head off to a forest where everything is made of stone, even the trees are stone. Magna, what are we doing here? There's nothing in this forest worth finding, everything is made of rock, and even the trees are made of rock. Izuku, calm down, there's a reason why we're here. Look at the rocks more closely. They inspect the rocks and notice that some of them have faces. Monstrox, back in the day Malik and I had a whopper of a battle out here. I tried to crush Malik with the biggest monster horde ever, but he turned the entire forest of Frightwood to stone. Joke's on Malik, because now I can turn all those rocks into Grimrocks. As he says it, he shoots lightning on the rocks, bringing them to life. The stones started to transform into large monsters that looked almost identical to Burnsy, with a mace-like club in place of a right hand and large wings. Tamira, that's impressive. Izuku, and they are great additions to our growing army. Now then, let's keep searching. We're close to something else. As they continue to explore, one of the Grimrocks finds a hollow area in the earth. The monsters dug it out and found a cave with tons of statues and a large beast and rider in the front. Monstrox. Ooh, I know some of these guys. That big one on the hound is legendary warlord Krokenskull, and that's his army. Oh, it's just what we need. Izuku, not only that, but there are 2 Rogals here. We can use their forbidden powers for our cause as well. Monstrox. Alright, let's zap him. Monstrox flies over them in his cloud form and zaps them to life. Krokenskull was an armored man who wore a horned helmet and a cape made of 7 ribbons. His left eye was cyan, and his right eye was black. He also carried a large sword with a skull on the hilt on his back. His hound, the Kraken Beast, was a large stone monster with bat-like wings and a wrecking ball-like tail. His army had a similar appearance to the gargoyles, except they didn't have wings, and they were called Stone Stompers. Krokenskull speaks Kraken. Mustard, what did he say? Izuku, that's the ancient language of Kraken, which Krokenskull and his Kraken Beast are well versed in. Kurogyri. Monstrox, what is that on the Kraken Beast's head? Monstrox, that's the forbidden power of Petrifying Quake. It combines the power of petrification with earthquakes. Krokenskull experimented with 2 forbidden powers, Petrifying Power and Cracking Quake, to create the power of Petrifying Quake. It can turn anything into stone while shaking the ground like an earthquake. Izuku, legend has it that Krokenskull couldn't control his Petrifying Quake. He accidentally turned his own army to stone and then buried them in a massive earthquake, which is why they were underground. The symbol appeared to be a red skull made from cracks. Tamira, that does sound powerful. So what about the other 2 forbidden powers? Monstrox, Way ahead of you, this one is devious demolition. It can cause any stone structure to fall apart, and we can use the rubble to create new monsters. Monstrox zaps the Rogol to life and it gives the forbidden power to Izuku. The symbol on the forbidden power appeared to be something exploding with a wicked face on it. Izuku, alright, let's test it out. Izuku zaps a stone wall and a chunk of it fell to pieces. Monstrox, now twice, we need you to carve faces into them. Twice, right away sir. Twice creates some clones and he begins carving faces into the rubble. Once he was done, Monstrox zaps them to life. They looked like bricks, pillars, and walls with arms and faces. Spinner, a self-made army, nice. So what are we gonna call them? Izuku, how about Rubblers? They cheer happily at the new name. Monstrox, looks like they approve, now let's get the other one. They go to the next Rogol. Monstrox, behold the powerful power of dramatic pause metamorphosis. The symbol on the forbidden power was a red axe with a skull emerging from it. Monstrox zaps it to life and it gives the power to Izuku. Monstrox, bring out the gold we raided from that truck along the way. Two monsters leave and then return with a chest filled with gold. Spinner, I'm curious, what does it do? Izuku, watch and prepare to be awed. Izuku pointed the staff at it, and the gold turned into lead. Mr. Compress, hey, did you do something wrong? Monstrox, no, we just transformed gold into lead. Dabi, I don't get it. Isn't it better to turn lead into gold? Monstrox, not if you want to bankrupt the Hero Commission. Tamura, yeah, I guess that could work. But we don't just use gold anymore. Izuku, this is why I've been studying ways to alter the forbidden power so that it can be used on other precious metals, like turning copper into aluminum and silver into tin. Which is why it's the powerful power of dramatic pause metamorphosis. Dabi, I still don't get it. Monstrox, it's so powerful we gotta pause dramatically every time we say it. Magna, whatever. So what now? Izuku, now, we head to town and use the Book of Greed's power to steal all the valuables that they have. They head to the city close to UA and Izuku feeds the Book of Greed to Monstrox. Monstrox, oh that is so tasty. It's like potato chips. I just want more. Izuku opens Monstrox. Izuku, greedy monsters. Come out and steal some stuff. Loot and plunder, you can never have enough. A horde of monsters materialize on the ground in front of the evil mobile. Burnsy, grab anything gold or jeweled. Sparks, treasure. I want treasure. Izuku, now then, let's take everything. The monsters charge into town and start stealing everything they can. They eventually reach UA and steal what they can, and for some reason, they take a pink-haired girl from the support course. Once they were done, they returned to the Redoubt of Ruination where the girl, who introduced herself as May Hatsum, was very fascinated with the vehicles. May, wow, so you're telling me that these vehicles run on actual magic? I've got to see what makes them tick. Magmar, well then, I guess I'll leave you to it. Magmar leaves while some monsters watch over her. We now go to the throne room which was filled with gold. Mr. Compress, this is so great. I am literally covered in gold. A golden statue of Mr. Compress is seen behind Monstrox. Monstrox, yeah, very artsy. Now we got work to do. Spinner, yeah, we didn't just steal all this to live a life of luxury. Mr. Compress, look, I'm so shiny and golden. Monstrox, oh brother. This greed thing is going to his head and warping his mind. Izuku, well he was holding the book the longest when we first found it. I kind of regret not feeding it to you right away. Magmar then walks in. Magmar, Monstrox, Izuku, sir. The prisoner seems to be cooperating well despite the circumstances. Izuku, I didn't want to take prisoners but she was so, golden. The monsters couldn't resist. I've read her file and saw she was also against the Hero Commission's corruption. Make her feel comfortable and have her examine the vehicles. Who knows, she might be a potential ally in the future. Though we are going to have to return her eventually. Magmar, yes sir, I will see to it. Izuku, Monstrox, this whole greed thing isn't working. I managed to transform some of the treasure we stole with the powerful power of dramatic pause metamorphosis. But the monsters keep hoarding most of it for themselves. Monstrox, you're right. All these things distract us from finding more books. To bookkeeper, hey. Rub my chin. I'm thinking to myself. Bookkeeper, yes sir. Does as instructed. During May's stay, she managed to help teach the monsters a thing or two about engineering and managed to make blueprints for future vehicles that they could use. A few hours later Magmar came back to the throne room. Izuku, so, how is Miss Hatsum doing? Magmar, Miss Hatsum has been very helpful to us, and she's even having a good influence on the monsters. They turn and see some monsters doing some machine work of their own. Tamura, that's good to know, but we're in a bit of trouble ourselves. Monstrox, yep. Everyone around here's completely distracted by greed. Izuku and the heroes are still searching for Hatsum and all the stuff we stole, so it will be trouble for us if they find out where we are. We're lucky enough that the deception spell I used is keeping us hidden. Magmar, we could take back Miss Hatsum. Monstrox, yes, and all this golden treasure. We gotta get back to our core business of being evil. Mr. Compress, but I love my new gold hat. The weight of the hat causes Mr. Compress to crash to the ground. He howls in pain. The rest of them just shake their heads in disappointment. They continue on with their day when suddenly the effects of the Book of Greed start to come back. Burnsy, I want more gold. Sparks, you can never have enough gold. Izuku, I can't take it anymore. This is driving me crazy. Monstrox, that's it. We're implementing my new plan. Give it all back. Mr. Compress drops the coins he was admiring. Izuku and Monstrox, right now. The villains wasted no time. They had all the monsters load the gold and treasure onto wagons that were connected to the evil mobile and they headed out. Mr. Compress, why are we taking all the gold back? Monstrox, because it's totally ruined our plan to get rid of the Hero Commission's corruption. They see Class 1A arrive and charge at them. Monstrox, oh, for the love of monsters. The monsters do the same and attack them, but their numbers drop fast since they are distracted by greed. Dabi, now what? Monstrox, in between reabsorbing monsters, I think we gotta make a deal. Tamura, no way. Monstrox, we got no choice. To the heroes, we don't want to fight. We want to make a deal. Achiko, what did he say? Ida, he says they want to make a deal. Mr. Compress, look, we just want to give May Hatsum back. Oh, and all the gold. Mina, what? Ijiro, that actually sounds like a win-win. Bakugo, no deal. We'll take the gold and you can keep the crazy girl. Himiko, what? Monstrox, some kind of reverse psychology trick. We gotta make some outrageous demands of our own. That's how these things work. Izuku, right? No deal. You take the gold, Miss Hatsum, and we want, He spies the sealant tube advertisement billboard on top of one of the shops. A bunch of weatherproof sealant for some, home renovation projects. He leans in closer to the rest of the team. We gotta weather seal the new hot tub. Monstrox. Good thinking. Bakugo. The crazy inventor for a tube of sealant. Bakugo ponders this proposition. Shinso. Really? Do you actually have to think about it? Achiko runs to Bakugo and Shinso. Achiko, deal. The two groups are standing across from each other in front of the tower. May is being held back by Burnsy and Sparks. Bakugo is holding a very large tube of sealant. The two sides glare at each other as Western music plays. Bakugo chucks the tube in between the two groups. Burnsy and Sparks cautiously release May, who start making her way over to the heroes. The League of Villains leave and return to the Redoubt of Ruination for some relaxation. Burnsy is squeezing sealant onto a piece of the hot tub while Sparks holds it upright. Magmar is supervising them. Burnsy accidentally gets some sealant on Sparks' hand, causing it to get stuck on the piece. Mr. Compress is sitting beside his golden statue, the only thing that hadn't been taken back. Mr. Compress, I'm kinda missing the huge piles of gold. Monstrox, hey, you still got a golden statue. That's quite a conversation starter. Besides, we need to be focused on the big picture. Finding more evil books. Mr. Compress, what's the deal with them anyway? We know they help summon new monsters, but I can tell there's more to it. Izuku, Well, looks like the greed finally wore off, and to answer your question, they also serve a large role in Monstrox's return. Monstrox, yeah, once we get them all, I'll finally be back to my old self. But for now, let's head back to Mount Thunderstrox and plug these 2 forbidden powers in. Izuku, right? Kurogyri. Kurogyri, I'm on it. Kurogyri opens a portal and they walk through it. Monstrox takes on his cloud form and begins channeling his power. Monstrox, transfer forbidden power. The tablet melts and flows through the staff down to the floor and then up to the 6th stone pillar. Izuku, all buildings will be put out of commission, now take this power devious demolition. Once the transference is complete, the symbol on the tablet appears on the 6th stone pillar. The duo then laugh maniacally as Monstrox's storm dies down. Izuku, now for metamorphosis. Monstrox, transfer forbidden power. The tablet melts and flows through the staff down to the floor and then up to the 7th stone pillar. Izuku, with this power, will begin the metamorphosis. I give you metamorphosis. Once the transference is complete, the symbol on the tablet appears on the 7th stone pillar. The duo then laugh maniacally as Monstrox's storm dies down. Izuku, that's 7, just 3 more and we'll finally bring the Colossus to life. Monstrox, yeah, now let's head back to base. They go through another warp gate and smile as their team is getting better acquainted with their new home. Izuku, hey mom, sorry I haven't called in a while, we've been really busy. Inko, I know sweetie, I saw the news. I know you want to make society fair, but can you try to tone it down a bit for the time being? Izuku, I'll try mom, love you. Inko, love you too honey. The call ended and Izuku went to the throne room where everyone was waiting. Izuku, good to see you all rested. Tamura, that was a very nice room, the bed felt great. Mr. Compress, yes, we're all enjoying the new accommodations. Monstrox, that's good, now before we proceed with our next possible assignment, we need some new allies. Kurogyri, since you knew AFO the longest, you must know of anyone that would join us. Kurogyri, yes, I'm already making preparations to search for them. Izuku, good. Oh, before I forget, while we were getting settled in, I had the monsters repair and modify some of your costumes. I hope you'll be proud of our work. Izuku reveals 3 mannequins with Tamura, Himiko, and Dabi's costumes, repaired and improved. Tamura now adopted a hooded leather coat that he wore over his costume, with the addition of 2 additional red cords to connect the hands on his shoulders to the hands on his chest. Tamura, not bad Izuku, not much changes, but I like the new look. Himiko now has a new set of supportive gear. This includes propelled tendril-like blades and a new piped black mask. Himiko, wow, this is amazing, thanks Izu. Dabi now wears a long dark blue coat with white cuffs, similar to his previous look, albeit the ends of the coat are not tattered. In addition, he dons a white V-necked shirt with white outlines. The stitches extend not only to his shoulder pads but also to the kneecaps of his pants. The only things he retains are his silver belt, black boots, and his dark-colored pants. He also has 3 buttons on both sides of his coat. Dabi, I like the new design, it really works for me. Izuku, glad you all like it. Suddenly Izuku's phone rings. He takes it out and sees that it's his mom calling. Izuku, Mom? But I just spoke to her not too long ago. Izuku got a glass of water and drinks a bot. He then answered the phone and the voice that he heard wasn't his mother's. Hello, Monster Summoner. Izuku said nothing as he recognized the voice as Endeavor's, and everyone could hear it thanks to Izuku putting it on speakerphone. Izuku, how did you get this number? Endeavor, didn't need to, I just got it from your dear mother. Izuku, what have you done to her? Endeavor, nothing yet, but I'm eager to make a trade. Meet me out on the roof, where you will hand over your staff to me. Do that and I'll let her go. And no funny business or I'll fry her. Once the call ended, Izuku was beyond furious. Not only did Endeavor kidnap his mother, but he also had the audacity to even threaten her. Izuku's grip grew tight around his glass of water and he shatters it. Izuku, Kurogyri, take me to that location. Spinner, you know it's a trap, right? Izuku, yes, but I can't let him hurt my mother. Dabi, then I'm coming too, it's time I put that B-turd in his place. Izuku, alright. Kurogiri opens a portal and they walk through. Once they arrive they see Inko tied up with Endeavor's hand pointed at her. Endeavor, good you're here. Monstrox, whispers Izuku, look on his belt. Izuku then sees an evil book in Endeavor's belt. It was a green book with a circle in the center, 2 long golden arrows pointing up and down, and 4 short arrows pointing in diagonal directions. The symbol in the center was a pair of glowing squinted eyes with matching scars over them which symbolized envy. Izuku, mind, the Book of Envy. No wonder he always wanted to take All Might's place as the #1 hero. Endeavor, now come over here and give me the staff. Izuku gave a quick nod towards Dabi who understood what he was planning to do. Izuku approached the fake hero and held out the staff of Monstrox, which Endeavor took. Izuku, now let my mother go. Endeavor, I don't think so. Endeavor shoots a fireball at Inko. Izuku, but before the attack hit her, a wall of ice emerged and blocked the attack. They were surprised to see Shoto had used his quirk to save Izuku's mother. Endeavor, Shoto, what are you doing? Shoto, ending this, I won't let you destroy another family like you did ours. Dabi, I couldn't agree more. Endeavor, Dabi. Dabi takes out a water bottle and pours it on his head, which reveals that he is wearing black hair dye and his real hair color is white. Suddenly Izuku recognized the boy that had joined them. Just the identity reveal. Shoto, no way. Toya activates his quirk and fires off an attack which pushes Endeavor away and drops the staff. Izuku grabs it and summons some monsters to help in the fight, and then he runs over to his mom and frees her. Izuku, are you okay, Mom? Did he hurt you? Inko, I'm fine, sweetie, I'm just glad that you're safe. Izuku, Sai, I'm glad you're safe too, Mom, but it's no longer safe for you to go back to the apartment. Inko, then I guess I'll just have to stay with you, honey. Izuku, that sounds reasonable. Touches earpiece Kurogiri, take my mom to the Redoubt of Ruination, and treat her well. A portal appears in front of Inko and she walks through smiling at how far her little boy has come. Once she was out of the fight, Izuku joined Toya who was now struggling since Shoto was badly injured. Izuku, your envy to become #1 is insatiable, but I know how to end it. Fear and Shocking Scare. Izuku summons the power of Shocking Scare and the Book of Fear, causing the staff to glow blue. He then points it at Endeavor and blasts him with it. Suddenly Endeavor was filled with fear. Izuku, boo. Endeavor screams and runs away, but not before dropping the Book of Envy. Izuku picks up the book and reads through it, taking notes as he goes. Once Endeavor returns to his senses, he attacks Izuku, but it is too late. He casts a spell from the book that summons a pair of chains that binds him to the ground and cancels his quirk. Izuku, now to make sure you can't hurt anyone ever again. Envy. Staff glows green, power Rob, permanent. Izuku points the staff at Endeavor and begins to absorb and steal Endeavor's quirk using a spell from the Book of Envy. Endeavor, my quirk, what have you done? Izuku, it's gone, you won't be abusing it anymore. Izuku then knocks him unconscious and turns and walks towards Shoto. He kneels down and uses healing magic to heal his injuries. Izuku, they're all better. And thanks for protecting my mom. Shoto, I couldn't stand seeing him hurt someone like he did my mom. You know, you just made it easier for the heroes to capture you and the League by saving me. Izuku, true, but as they say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I'm very grateful that you saved my mom, and hopefully, by the end of it all, we won't be enemies anymore. Shoto, we'll see. Izuku then goes over to Monstrox and feeds him the Book of Envy. Kurogiri opens a portal and they escape. Shoto, mind, what a strange boy. After they left, a broadcast went out where Toya revealed everything about Endeavor while he was still in his Dabi disguise. He also revealed his true identity, and all the people who supported Endeavor turned on him. Some even left Endeavor's agency after learning about this and joined the people against their former boss. Just the speech. Back at the base. Tamura, well, that's quite the surprise. The supposed dead son of Endeavor joined the League to get back at his old man. That's something enjoyable. Toya, sorry I didn't tell you when we first met. I figured I'd keep you all guessing till the time was right. Magna, well, that was definitely great work, Toya. Spinner, and the number 1 faker is finally defeated. Izuku, true, even if Hawks takes his place, he's not as powerful as us. Tamura, so how's your mother doing? Izuku, she's doing great, she's resting in her new room. But she also mentioned something to me before I came. Does the name Tenko Shimura ring any bells? Tamura's eyes widen and then he looks at Izuku with uncertainty. Tamura, how does she know that name? Izuku, she said that she had a brother, and he had a son that went by that name, but the whole family died, except their son. She said that she was trying to find him and make him feel like he was part of a family again. Tamura didn't say anything for a moment, and then he gave a light chuckle. Tamura, so I still had more family and he didn't tell me. So I guess that means we're cousins. Izuku. This revelation surprised everyone present, especially Izuku. Not only did he learn that he had a cousin, but that he was with him the entire time. Moments later Inko came into the room and Tamura/Tenko hugged her, making sure not to decay her. Then everyone else joined in. The next day Kurogyari announced that he was heading out to find someone that AFO had instructed him to find in the event he would be captured. They all understood why and allowed him to do so. Inko was helping around the Redoubt of Ruination by preparing food and teaching the monsters how to cook, and when she found out about Izuku and Himiko dating, she was overjoyed that her son was finding happiness. After 3 days Kurogyari returned. Tenko, Kurogyari, you've returned, have you found who you were looking for? Kurogyari, I have. They hear loud footsteps as the ground begins to shake. They all look outside to see a giant lower leg standing beside the castle. Kurogyari, my comrades, you must realize Shigaraki is not the only person AFO cultivated. Allow me to introduce you to one of his most faithful servants, Gigantomachia. Gigantomachia, everything, is for the glory of my master. Gigantomachia was an enormous giant, about the height of a large tree or at least 3 building levels or floors with a muscle-bound build. His brown hair was spiky and parts of his body appear to be jagged, much like rock. His teeth are prominently pointed, his lower canines protruding out of his mouth on either side. Notably, he always carries a portable radio wherever he goes, sometimes even tying it to a rope and wearing it around his neck. And he wears bright black pants. Monstrox, whoa, now that's a giant. Izuku, incredible, what's his quirk? Kurogyari, the doctor told me that he has a total of 7 quirks. He was the original prototype for creating the Nomu. These quirks are endurance. His original quirk allows him to convert his morale into physical energy, giving him a significant increase in stamina and endurance. Pain blocker, which makes him unable to detect any pain, granting him an immense pain tolerance. Gigantification allows him to grow to gigantic sizes the more he is agitated or excited. He could grow to be at least 25 meters in height. Dog, which provides him with heightened senses of smell and hearing, similar to that of a dog's. Energy saver, this allows his body to function on very small amounts of nutrition and hydration, allowing him to fully function on a minimal amount of sleep. Fierce gain, which allows his muscles to harden at exceptional levels. And finally, mole, which allows him to grow mole-like claws from his fingers, spines on his back, and a visor, seemingly part of his lower jaw, shielding his face, to help him dig through the earth, as well as tear through obstacles, such as buildings. All for one gave him this quirk with the purpose of hiding underground. Izuku, ice sparkles amazing. Tenko, you did great. Kurogyari, I'm impressed. Kurogyari, I was also able to find someone else. She escaped from Tartarus, but not before Master could give her an additional quirk. A woman appears before them. She is a tall woman with a curvy body. She has long, indigo-colored hair with numerous scattered pink streaks. Her hair was cut shorter. Her eyes are purple with a mauve shade with dark, blue-colored angled eyebrows. She wears a purple sleeveless dress with gold piping around the hem, white zip-up boots with black lines on the front extending to the bottoms and heels, and a metallic utility belt in which she stores her bullets and black leggings. Izuku, you're Kana Tsutsumi, a former hero who worked for the HPSC. Your code name was Lady Nagant. Lady Nagant, I see you're as smart as he said. Izuku, I'm honored to have you here. Your skills will definitely help us purge the corruption from this society. Lady Nagant, and I look forward to working with you too. Tenko, having someone who knows how the hero commission works is going to be very valuable to our effort. Monstrox was able to get the location of another magic book. However, Shigaraki and some of the League are having a meeting with the leader of a Yakuza branch known as the Shai Hisaikai, Kai Chisaki, aka Overhaul. Izuku said that he and Monstrox, along with a few other monsters, will get the book while the rest of the League will go to the meeting place. Izuku, are you sure you want to go through with this? The Shai Hisaikai are a group that AFO recommended for recruitment, but the current head is not the kind of person you'd want to take lightly. Tenko, we'll be fine. After all, you've gotten the information we need to prepare for the worst. Can you read it back to me so I can have a better understanding of how their quirks work? Izuku, okay. First is Kai Chisaki, the current leader of the Shai Hisaikai. His alias is the same as his quirk, Overhaul. He can deconstruct and reconstruct anything he touches with his bare hands, which is why he always wears gloves. He's also a huge germaphobe. Kai is a pale young man of a narrow build with short, shaggy, auburn hair parted to the right. His eyes are thin, irises small and gold, with relatively long lower eyelashes and small eyebrows. He has 3 piercings in his left ear. He usually has his mouth covered by a plague doctor mask. Kai wears a black dress shirt with matching dress pants, a pale gray tie around his neck, a belt with a long, thin buckle around his waist, and 3 beaded lobe piercings in his left ear. Over this, he wears a dark olive green bomber jacket with a thick purple fur collar and white lace-up sneakers with tan soles and no socks. Kai's most distinguishing features are the white surgical gloves he wears on his hands and the magenta plague mask he wears over his mouth, which is tipped and embroidered with gold. Izuku, next is his second-in-command, Hari Kurono. His alias is the same as his quirk, Chronostasis. It allows him to slow down the movements of anything he hits with his clock hand-like hair. The minute hand slows a target's movements for 1 minute, and the hour hand slows a target's movements for 1 hour. Hari can extend his hair, but only if he is not moving. Hari has fair skin, thin, dark eyes, pointed eyebrows, and pale chin-length hair that forms arrow-shaped clock needles as a result of his quirk. As with the other members of the Shai Hisaikai, Hari wears a plague mask, black with gold trim, and circular glasses over his eyes. He can also be distinguished from them by his long white raincoat, with the hood kept permanently up. Izuku, then there is Joy Irinaka. His alias is Mimic, and his quirk is called Mimicry. It allows him to merge his body and mind into an object, granting him full control over the object as if it were his own body. Joy can only use this power on objects the size of a refrigerator or smaller. However, if he was given anything that could boost his quirk, he can use it on larger objects, like the whole floor of a building. He serves as the general manager of the Shai Hisaikai. Joy is usually seen inside a black suit that he possesses with his quirk as a means to disguise himself. It appears to be a small black cloak with a short leg and arm-like protrusions and a white plague mask that he wears as part of the Shai Hisaikai, sewn over where his face should be. Outside of the bodysuit, Joy is a tall and muscular man. He has visibly pointed facial features, including a spiked nose, a long, square-shaped chin, and a notably large mouth. He has relatively long, blonde hair that's worn spiked up and a matching goatee. He wears typical Yakuza clothing in the form of a dress shirt and pinstriped pants, also sporting suspenders. Izuku, next are Overhaul's top henchmen, the 8 Bullets. First is Shin Nemoto. His quirk is called Confession. It allows him to force his victim to answer with the truth after asking them a question. Shin is a slim man with short, light-colored hair that he wears parted with bangs hanging down his forehead. Shin wears a black cape, a pair of baggy 3/4 pants, a black bowler hat, and pale sneakers. Like the other 8 Bullets, he sports a black plague mask. Izuku, then there's Rikia Katsukame. His quirk, Energy Suck, allows him to siphon away other people's stamina by inhaling their strength away from them. He can use the stolen stamina to increase his size and strength greatly. To use his quirk, Rikia needs to be touching the target. Rikia is a large, tall, and very muscular man. He wears a black tank top with a standby symbol, probably referring to his quirk. On his back, it's possible to see a metallic seat that he uses to carry other Shai Hisaikai members like Mimic. Rikia also wears olive drab jeans with an armor-looking belt. He wears a pair of blue socks and orange sneakers as well. He also wears massive gauntlets and knuckle dusters on his fists. Like every other Shy Hasaikai member, Rikia wears a plague mask. In his case, it is black, with red lines, white eyes, and a golden detail around the neck. It also covers his whole head. Izuku, next is Toya Setsuno. His quirk, larceny, allows him to instantly relocate an object from someone else's possession to his own hands. He needs to be able to see his target, and there is a limit to size of what he can steal. Toya is a tall, lean young man with light, almond-shaped eyes, their irises visibly small, with prominent dark circles around them. His hair is chin-length and bright golden blonde color, worn parted to his left to obscure his right eye. Toya has a wide mouth with mainly straight teeth and thin eyebrows that are usually pointed upwards. These, and the notable wideness of his eyes, give him a permanently crazed look. Toya wears a gray, dark green in the anime, dress shirt with a light orange tie, pink in the anime, as well as dark pants and a beak-shaped plague mask that's worn by all of the 8 bullets. Izuku, along with him, there's Hojo with his quirk, Crystallize, which grants him the ability to produce sharp, durable crystals from his skin. This power is effective for both close-ranged offense and defense. He can grow his crystals into a sword around his arm. Yu is a tall, muscular man with shadowed eyes and his head shaven to use his quirk more efficiently. He wears a dark dress shirt, the top few buttons left undone, and plain pants, along with a pair of black dress shoes. Yu's choice of mask is a simple medical mask that he wears over his mouth, unlike the signature beak-like mask worn by the rest of the 8 bullets. Izuku, and then there's Soromitsu Tabe and his quirk, Food, which allows his teeth to chew through and consume any solid substance easily, no matter how durable. His stomach can quickly digest whatever abnormal substances he has eaten with no trouble. Soromitsu is a slim man with circular eyes, dark eye bags, and short, unruly black hair. He also has a notably large mouth, possibly due to the nature of his quirk and straight teeth. He wears a ragged burlap sack mask that covers his entire head and is held by a rope knot around his neck. The mask has 2 openings from where Soromitsu's eyes are visible and a stitched smile. He also wears a purple dress shirt and gray pants. Izuku, then there's Didoro Sakaki and his quirk, Slosh, which allows him to subject nearby people to severe dizziness and inhibit their sense of balance, putting them in a state similar to being drunk. Didoro is a very skinny and bony but muscular man with long, greasy black hair, reaching just below his shoulders, circular and rather deep-set eyes, and notably straight teeth. Like all members of Shy Hasaikai, Didoro wears a mask, his one being plain and having drains fitted into the eye holes so that the alcohol he consumes can drip through. Aside from that, Didoro wears nothing but a furry vest and dark pants with black shoes. Izuku, next is Kendo Rappa, or as he was known before joining the Shy Hasaikai, the Rapper. His quirk, Strong Arm, allows him to rotate his shoulders at extreme speeds, allowing him to attack his targets with a near-endless barrage of bullet punches. His quirk can only stay active for a few seconds at a time, but this is all the time Kendo needs to wear down his opponents. Kendo is a huge, muscular man with long, light brown hair. His face is hidden beneath the plague mask given to him by the Shy Hasaikai, and he dons a tattered t-shirt and dark pants covered by a light blue tunic and decorated with 2 belts. Kendo also sports his signature gloves, which cover his hands and wrists with several leather straps and his knuckles with metal. Izuku, and finally, there's Hekiji Tenjii and his quirk, Barrier, which allows him to materialize an extremely durable dome-shaped force field around himself. The strength of the force field has been compared to that of a steel wall. This quirk can be projected at a range of Hekiji's choosing, with Hekiji himself at the center. It is not known if the size affects the durability of the quirk. Despite being very sturdy, the barrier can be broken if an extreme amount of power is used against it. Also, if Hekiji becomes too weakened or injured, he becomes unable to summon more barriers. Hekiji is a tall, slim man with short, spiky hair of a pale color. He has straight, dark eyebrows and thin eyes, their irises and pupils visibly light, but he is usually seen with his eyes closed. He wears a traditional dark-colored yukata with a pair of geta on his feet, a long white piece of cloth acting as a belt around his waist. As with the other members of the Shai Hasaikai, Hikiji wears a plague mask, his being a plain brown one worn strapped to his face with 3 belts, one down his forehead and one on each side of his face that also cover his ears, like mufflers. Tenko, thanks for the info Izuku, we'll handle the rest from here. Izuku, okay, but I'm leaving some monsters with you in case things take a turn for the worse. Izuku summons some monsters and instructs them to protect his friends should overhaul and his men attack them. Izuku and Monstrox got onto the evil mobile and drove off. They drive for a bit until they reach a hotel. Monstrox, I'm telling ya, there's an evil book around here somewhere. Izuku, so spread out and find it our monsters. The monsters do as instructed and spread throughout the hotel, while Izuku and Monstrox go inside. Izuku, that evil book is here. Huh, this looks like a really nice place, bet it's a 4-star place. Owner, 5 stars actually. Do you have a reservation, Mr. Broccoli Hair? Izuku, no we don't. You see we're here looking for an evil. Owner, no, I'm sorry, I can't help you with anything if you don't have a reservation. Monstrox, sniffs oh ho ho, it was here. It was right here. Owner, manual. Could you throw this boy and his talking book back out onto the street? Monstrox, hey, personal space here, personal space. The concierge named Manuel pushed them outside and then threw them out. Izuku, ow. Manuel goes to Izuku and holds his hand out. Izuku, huh? Groans he throws me out, then I have to tip him. Tips the Manuel, what kind of a cruel joke is this? Monstrox, laughs, just the kind of thing caused by the Book of Cruelty. That's the evil book, it's here. We gotta spread out and find it. They do as instructed and search through the hotel. They check the golf course, the cafeteria, and even the rooms, but no luck. Izuku and Monstrox approach the owner. Izuku, look, you're not being very helpful. Owner, you're correct, brat, but that is my job. Monstrox, just tell us where the book is that was sitting right here, pal, or we'll tear this place apart. Manuel, one of the guests took it. Izuku, well, where is he? Manuel holds out his hand. Izuku groans and tips Manuel. Manuel points up. They look up. Izuku, Bakugo. Bakugo, I knew this hanging around gag was getting old. Falls on top of Izuku, Monstrox, and Bookkeeper and runs away. Izuku, get him. The monsters chase after Bakugo throughout the whole hotel, which he booby-trapped while they were looking for the book. Eventually they chased him outside where he fell into the evil mobile. Izuku, gotcha. Takes the book from Bakugo and chuckles. The Book of Cruelty was pink and purple, the circle and arrows were in the shape of a rhombus, and the symbol in the center looked like 3 squiggly lines moving diagonally upright, with the bottom one appearing like something was leaking out of it, which symbolized cruelty. Izuku reads through the book and takes notes before closing it. Izuku, you should learn to be a better tipper. Tips Manuel. Manuel, thank you. Bakugo. Izuku, you don't need another evil book, especially one this cruel. Izuku, oh, what happened to Deku? Got tired of that old nickname already. Listen carefully, Bakugo, we need all the evil books we can get. Bakugo, Izuku, we used to be friends, don't you remember? Monstrox, what he remembers is that nobody ever stood up for him, except me and the League. We're standing by him and helping him be somebody. Bakugo, being evil and cruel doesn't make you important. It makes you sad. Izuku, I tried being nice, but every time I was left in the dirt like I didn't matter. I'm not doing this for myself, I'm doing this for everyone who was wronged by society. Until you can prove to me beyond a shadow of a doubt that you aren't just the same bully who used to use me as a punching bag, we're not friends. I've chosen my path, and I'm sticking with it to the end. Okay, Monstrox, eat up. Izuku feeds the Book of Cruelty to Monstrox. Monstrox, I love the taste of cruelty in the morning. It tastes like monsters. Monstrox opens to the section for cruelty monsters and Izuku waves the staff over the pages. Izuku, monsters, 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 fiery and cruel. Be horrible and mean, and show that I'm no fool. Monsters erupt from the pages and they start rampaging throughout the hotel, capturing the staff and tying them up at the golf course. Beastmaster, What should we do with them, Izuku? Izuku, leave them here, we have somewhere else to be, so until next time. They all go to their vehicles and drive to the warehouse where the meeting is being held. On their way some of the defeated monsters returned to Monstrox, which made them worried. When they arrived they saw that the place was in shambles and only a few monsters were left. He sees that everyone was still alive, but Mr. Compress was missing his left arm. Izuku, what happened? They explained what had happened when they were gone. Magna doesn't die. Magna, I'm just glad that Globlin was able to prevent him from using his quirk on me. I'm really sorry, I just got really mad. Izuku, no need to apologize, now we know that the Shy Hasaikai are not to be trifled with. We'll need a better plan in the event we have to face him again. For now, let's head back to the Redoubt of Ruination and get some rest. They all agreed with the monsters helping Mr. Compress, who received most of the damage due to him losing his arm. They returned to the Redoubt of Ruination and rested up for what was to come next. Izuku, I can't believe all this happened while I was gone. Tenko, I'm just glad we're all still alive, apart from a few monsters, but we held our ground. Monstrox, so what now? Tenko, I think it's best if we try to negotiate with him. That bullet that hit Compress before temporarily deactivated his quirk, and I want to know how it works. So I'll take him up on his offer and meet him tomorrow. Izuku, okay, just stay safe, Tenko. The next day Tenko went to talk to Overhaul. Later he returned with his report. Twice. You want us to work with the Hasaikai? Tenko, yeah. Why do I have to keep repeating it? Their plan has some serious potential. So from today on, Toga and Twice will be Yakuza members. He also wants Izuku and Monstrox. Twice, I don't find this joke humorous. That's hilarious, Shigaraki. Tenko, it's too important. There's an underground route you can take too. Twice, what are you thinking with this stuff? Stop pretending everything is cool. Why are you letting this beak-faced loser give you orders? He almost ended Big Sis Mag. And he took Mr. Compress' arm. Did you just forget? And it's all my fault. I brought him to meet with you. I may be a villain, but I'm human too. We all are men. Come on, Toga. Don't you agree with me? Himiko, the question I've got for you, Tamura, is what we mean to you. To me, the League is a place where I feel at home. I joined you cause of Mr. Staney. To make the world a place where I can do whatever I want and live freely. It'd be such a bummer to get distracted from my goal. Puts her knife to Tamura's neck. I guess what I'm wondering is, why should I do something I don't want to do with people I want to cut? Tenko takes off the hand on his face. It's simple. Because this is for all for us. They want to keep the League in check. So they'll try to win you two over, little by little. I want you to infiltrate them. Flatter them. But never forget they're beneath us. Twice, you said they have to pay for what they did. We'll make sure they do. This will work. I believe in you guys. And Izuku, I trust that you will deal with Overhaul directly should the need arise. Izuku, he won't know what hit him. They agree to the plan and head to the base of the Shy Hasaikai. They are in a meeting room with all the top-ranked members of the Shy Hasaikai. Himiko, my name's Toga and I was told I had to come here. Hiya. Twice. Long time no see, Birdman. Be warned. I'll never forgive you, so happy to be on the team. Izuku, my name's Izuku Midoriya, it's nice to meet you all. Monstrox, the name's Monstrox, glad to be here. And this is the bookkeeper. Bookkeeper, hey. Overhaul, wonderful. Rappa, the League of Villains? This is perfect. Let's brawl. Twice, I'll end you. Himiko, yeah, no thanks. Izuku, sorry, I'm more of a strategist and support person than a brawler, though I could summon Burnsy and Sparks to brawl with you later. Rappa, alright. Overhaul, sorry about your little pet thing. It's unfortunate. I didn't want to end it. Monstrox, it's no big deal, I'll just summon him again when we need him. Overhaul, anyway, this is no time to be holding grudges against each other. We're on the same team now. I want your help with my plan. Twice, bastard. You tried to play it cool the first time we met too. Like you don't care about anything. So what are my orders? Overhaul, just follow my instructions like everyone else in the organization. But first things first. I want the details of your quirks. It'll be easier for us to work together if I fully understand what you can do. Himiko, I think I'll tell you about my powers when you need to know about them. Oh, and just so we're clear, I still don't like you people. Mimic, so much for making a good impression. Don't underestimate the Yakuza. Twice, I agree with Toga. We'll tell you when we feel like it. Won't get nothing out of me. No way. My lips are sealed. Nemoto, what is your quirk? Izuku, don't bother trying to hide it. That's Shin Nemoto's quirk. He can force anyone to answer his questions truthfully. Shin, and what about you? Izuku, I'm quirkless. The power I have isn't a quirk. Monstrox taught me magic, a power that existed long before the age of quirks. I used the staff to bring his pages to life in order to summon monsters. Overhaul, well, that certainly wasn't expected. Nemoto, one more thing. Did Shigaraki say anything about betraying us? Twice, nope. Himiko, no. Izuku, never. Monstrox, of course not. Bookkeeper, no. Overhaul, I'll accept you as members of the Hasaikai now. But wanted criminals like you need to stay out of sight. Unless I say otherwise, don't leave the underground facilities. Twice, house arrest? That sounds super lame. Overhaul, once I trust you a little more, you can do what you want. But you'll have to prove yourselves. Though I would like the kid and his book to be within my field of vision. Izuku, yes, sir. Monstrox, whatever. They follow behind Overhaul to another area. Izuku, from what Tamura told me, you were able to temporarily deactivate Mr. Compress quirk. How'd you do it? Before Overhaul could answer, something bumped into Izuku. He looked down to see a small girl with bluish, off-white hair, messy and unkempt, which is parted in the middle of her forehead, almost reaching down to her waist. She has very wide, innocent-looking eyes, which are bright red in color. Poking out from the right side of her forehead is a small, brown horn. She's wearing a plain, short-sleeved dress, which is a dirty, pale tan color. Bandages are wrapped around both her arms and legs, stopping at her wrists and ankles, underneath which she is shown to have numerous scars. Izuku, mind her? What's a little girl doing here, and why are her arms wrapped in bandages? Overhaul, what are you doing out of your room? The girl flinches. Izuku, mind why is she trembling? Please help me. Guard, I'm real sorry, boss. I swear, I barely took my eyes off her. The kid made a break for I. Overhaul ends the man. Overhaul, Kurono, clean that up. Kurono, right? Izuku, mind just one touch and he was dead. But what is he doing with this girl? Izuku picks her up and holds her close. Overhaul, follow me. Izuku and Monstrox said nothing, but they did as instructed, all the while looking at the girl with concern. They find themselves in a room filled with medical equipment, most of which are meant for blood extraction. Then they remembered what Tamura told them before they left. Flashback. Tamura, when we analyzed the bullet that hit Compress, we found traces of human blood in them. Though we want to get those bullets, I can't condone human experimentation. Flashback. And Izuku, don't tell me. He's using her blood. Izuku seethed with anger, but he couldn't blow his cover just yet. Overhaul, Eri, you have to stop disobeying me like this. You're the core of my plan, you know, and I would hate to have to get my hands dirty. Overhaul urged the girl who was named Eri to get into the chair, but she was scared. Izuku got close to her ear and whispered something to her which only Monstrox and Bookkeeper could hear. Eri seemed to have calmed down and went over to the chair. Izuku, mind, don't worry, Eri. We'll save you and get you away from him. When the heroes attacked, Izuku and Monstrox joined Overhaul and Kurono as they were taking Eri and the finished bullets with them. We now go to when Mirio is about to protect Eri from the bullet. Izuku had summoned some monsters to help, but they were being overwhelmed by Mirio. Now Nemoto fires the bullet and Mirio rushes over to protect Eri. Izuku, greed. Staff glows red snatch. The bullet vanishes, surprising them. Nemoto, what, where'd it? Izuku, envy. Staff glows green power rub. Taps the staff on the ground. A stone pillar emerges and slams Overhaul against the wall. The wall then morphs and restrains him while his gloves reform on his hands. Overhaul, what are you doing? Release me. Izuku, how about no? This is payback for attacking the league, but also payback for what you did to Eri. Now, greed. Staff glows red snatch. Eri disappears and reappears in Izuku's arms. Izuku, it's okay now Eri, I won't let anyone hurt you again. Monstrox, great use of some spells from the Book of Greed and Book of Envy. Eri, will the bad man hurt me more? Izuku, no, we're taking you away from him. You're a real hero Lemillion, so I won't get in your way, but so long as there are people like Chisaki in this world, I can't let you take Eri. Mirio, I won't let you take her, you wanted to be a hero in the past, so please turn yourself in, and maybe you can get a lighter sentence and a chance at rehab. Izuku, I'm sorry, but I made a promise to Eri. That I would take her away from this nightmare and protect her. Flashback. Izuku, whispering, it's okay Eri, my friends and I will get you away from him, but you have to be brave and do as he says till then. Can you be brave for me? Flashback and Izuku, and besides, you think they would show mercy to a quirkless villain, didn't you get the report on what I said back in Kamino? So long as there's corruption in society, no one is safe, not even her. Suddenly the wall breaks and they see Melissa coming in along with Sir Night-Eye. Melissa, we're here Lemillion. Lemillion, glad you could come. Sir Night-Eye, looks like Chisaki is already down, good job Mirio. Mirio, it wasn't me sir, it was him. They turn and see Izuku holding Eri along with Monstrox. Melissa, Izuku. Izuku, hello Melissa, it seems fate has brought us together again. Just like All Might and AFO. Melissa, please hand over Eri and walk away. Izuku, greed. Staff glows red snatch. Suddenly Melissa appeared in Izuku's grasp. Izuku, I'm sorry Melissa, but I've already made my choice. Lemillion. He used one of the powers from a book, I gotta save her. Sir Night-Eye. No, he won't end her, it's against his morals. Izuku, true, but I can do this. Evil. Staff glows purple touch of evil. By using the powers from the Book of Evil I can turn anyone I touch evil as well, though this is much weaker than touching the actual book, so the effect will wear off in a few hours, but that should be enough time for us to get away. Izuku's hand gets covered in the same black substance that turned him evil to begin with. He then touches Melissa and it begins to cover her. Izuku lets her go as she stumbles to the ground and emerges with a new appearance. Melissa, evil laugh now this feels amazing. Melissa then starts attacking Mirio, but Sir Night-Eye gets to Izuku and touches him using his quirk, and what he saw made his eyes widen. Then he lets go. Izuku Monstrox, Eri and the monsters leave. Izuku, until next time heroes. Mirio, sir, why'd you let them get away? Sir Night-Eye, Mirio, I saw his future. Mirio, what did you see? Sir Night-Eye lets out a few tears and smiles. Sir Night-Eye, I saw hope. Izuku and his team regrouped with Toga and Twice whose mask was torn a bit. They returned to the Redoubt of Ruination where they put Eri into one of the spare bedrooms. Inko was overjoyed to see such a cute little girl. Magna, glad you're back guys, by the way, we've got 2 new allies. Izuku, alright show them in. The duo walked into the room. The first is a man with a refined appearance. He has a slicked back hairdo with a curl at the front, a handlebar mustache, and a well-kept, medium-sized beard. He has thick black lines around his eyes resembling eyeliner, which he applied himself with a marker. His clothes are also quite extravagant, featuring a dark purple jacket with enlarged collars and coattails, a pair of loose, pinstriped pants, and 2 belts. He also wears a pair of cuffs, purple gloves, and a woolly scarf of the same color. He is seen using a cane to walk. The other is a very short young woman with quite a large, round head compared to her narrow body. She has raspberry pink hair, which she wears up in 2 high pigtails, wide and thick at the top and thin at the bottom, the ends curved upwards to the sides at her waist, their edges trimmed straight. She has a single bang in the middle of her forehead, swept pointedly to her right, and very large, pointed down eyes with dark rings on the underside of each, 2 longer eyelashes to each far side, which take up most of her face. Her irises are oval-shaped, pink in color, and each has 2 circles between their small pupils and their rims, giving them a rather hypnotic look. Her outfit is quite elaborate, consisting of a big white bow at her neck, matching the thick white gloves she wears, An indigo shirt with large buttons and long, upturned frilly sleeve cuffs, and a pair of white, pinstriped pants which are very poofy, making her legs seem bigger than they are. She sports several heart motifs, such as heart earrings, heart-shaped buckles on the two thin, golden belts around her waist, and a wide heart design over the tops of her legs. She also wears dark tights underneath her pants, over which she wears a pair of shiny high-heeled boots. Izuku, the local vigilante who live streams his crimes, Danjuro Tabita, or Gentle Criminal. Gentle, it is quite an honor to meet you, Izuku of the League of Villains, though I don't see the rest of your comrades. Izuku, they're odd somewhere else at the moment. And I take this young lady is your partner Manami Aiba, or La Brava if I'm not mistaken. La Brava, you got that right, broccoli boy. Twice, it's nice to meet you both. Himiko, you're so cute, La Brava, we must do styling together at some point. Magna, well, when you're done I can show you to your new rooms. Gantel, that would be lovely. They follow behind Magna to their new rooms. The rest of the league returned not long after, and Izuku sees Mr. Compress back in full health with a new prosthetic arm. Izuku, glad you all came back, I was starting to get worried. Spinner, it took longer than expected, but we got some payback for what he did. Toya, we also go a hold of both versions of the Quirka racing bullets. Himiko, how did it go? Tenko, it went a little something like this. Tenko does a flashback to when they attacked the truck carrying Overhaul. Just the part where they attacked the truck, also snatches and ended. I couldn't find any other videos about the League's revenge on Overhaul. Skip to 121. Izuku, hey, he deserved it. Eri was peeking out from behind Izuku's legs. Izuku, it's okay Eri, they're more of my friends. This is Toya Todoroki. Toya, Izuku, Shuichi Iguchi, or Spinner. Spinner, hey. Izuku, Atsuhiro Seiko, or Mr. Compress. Mr. Compress, it's a pleasure to meet you. Izuku, and my cousin Tenko Shimura. Tenko, it's nice to meet you Eri, I hope we can make you smile again. Izuku, why don't you take Eri to her room, I had the monsters prepare it in advance. Inko, sure honey, let's go sweetie. Eri was hesitant, but she trusted Izuku and followed Inko. Izuku, I hope she'll be happy. Monstrox, don't worry Izuku, she'll be fine. Not only that, but we also took out one of the major criminal organizations in Japan, that's something to celebrate about. Izuku, yeah, you're right Himi, care to join me in a dance? Himiko, sure Izu. They danced together while the rest of the league celebrated their victory in their own way, not just the fall of the Shai Hasaikai, but also their new recruits. Tenko was playing a new video game and won. Twice was talking with Laveria and he seems to be hitting it off. Spinner was sharpening his blade, no surprise there. Magna was talking to a friend on her phone. Mr. Compress was doing a performance. Kurogiri got out some champagne for them to drink. Lady Nagant was spending some time to herself, Gigantomachia was in his hibernation state, not much to say there. And Gentle Criminal and La Brava were having tea. The next day Eri came to Izuku and asked for a piggyback ride and called Izuku, Papa, and Himiko Mama, while also calling the rest of the league either Auntie or Uncle and Inko Grandma. They didn't really mind since it brought some joy in their life. They spent some time together watching different videos until they saw a music video, and for the first time they saw Eri smile. The next day Izuku and Monstrox made preparations to find the final 3 forbidden powers. Izuku, don't worry Eri, we'll be back later in the afternoon. Eri, stay safe Papa. Izuku, I will my little snowflake. Izuku, Monstrox, and the monsters leave to find the final 3 forbidden powers. They travel throughout Japan with the Kraken Beast as their guide. They were riding along until some heroes come out. Krokenskull, speaking Kraken. Beastmaster, it's an ambush. Izuku, get us out of here. They drive away only to have more heroes arrive. Izuku, take confounding confusion and head back to the Redoubt of Ruination. Gives the staff to Rug. Rug, what? What about you? Izuku, I'll be fine, just lead them away, I can handle myself. They agree and head out. Izuku bailed and landed in a bush. Izuku, wow, I'm never doing that again. Just as Izuku was about to leave he sees a familiar face. Izuku, hello, Kaken. Bakugo, Izuku, it doesn't have to be like this. Izuku, yes it does, what do you care, all you've ever done was hurt people who are weaker than you. What makes you think I'll believe you've changed? Bakugo, I can't, I know what I did was wrong, and I know you resent me for what I did, but I'm trying to be a better person to make up for all the horrible things I've done to you. It's a hero's duty to save everyone, that's what you always told me. So I'll save you, even if I have to capture you. Izuku's eyes widened at what his former friend said. Suddenly, all the anger and vengefulness he felt towards Bakugo faded away, and it was replaced with happiness and contempt. His former friend was becoming a true hero and a better person, and he couldn't be happier. Just as Bakugo was about to land a hit in Izuku's chest, the staff of Monstrox appeared between them, and the explosion destroyed the tablet. Izuku looks down to see Rug, who he told to escape with the staff standing beside him. Rug, like we'd leave you behind. Rumble then rolls by with Rex and he grabs both Rug and Izuku as he picks up the fragments of the shattered Forbidden Power Tablet. They then roll back to the Redoubt of Ruination. Izuku, thanks for saving me back there. Rex, hey, you would have done the same for us. Rumble, yeah, you're our close companion little man. Izuku, I really appreciate it, though Monstrox is going to be really mad with Rug once he finds out that the last Forbidden Power Tablet we needed was shattered. Rug, oh that would be bad. Monstrox looked at the Rug with fury in his eyes. He was not happy that Confounding Confusion was destroyed. Monstrox, Confounding Confusion was the 10th Forbidden Power. The last one we needed to lock in at Mount Thunderstrox to awaken the Colossus. And you lost it. Now we gotta find one more. And that's your job. Izuku, there's no need, I was able to use the energy from the broken tablet and used it to locate another forbidden power, along with the final evil book we need. Monstrox, now that's good news, we'd better get that book right now. Himiko, hey guys, check out the new outfit I got for Eri. Eri's outfit is a white dress shirt with a frilled collar and a plain red pinafore with 2 large, golden buttons on either side of her chest. Under this, she wears gray tights and a large set of tan boots, and a small dark red messenger bag with the strap sitting over her right shoulder and a little floral pattern decorating one of its sides. Her hair also looks to be better cared for, appearing straighter and neater than it was during her time with the Shy Hasaikai. Eri, does it look nice, Papa? Izuku, it's so cute Eri, I love it. They hug each other. Everyone reacted happily towards Eri's new clothes. Izuku planned to have her spend the day with Inko while they go to find the final book. They arrive at a town and enter the library. They look around to find the book. Tenko, we'd better hurry before the heroes find us. Toya, it's not that easy, there are a ton here. Twice, hey I think I found it. They all head over to Twice and lo and behold he had found it. The final book was black with purple markings, there were 8 arrows. Surrounding the circle with the top and bottom arrows being slightly longer than the rest, and the symbol in the center was a dagger, which symbolized betrayal. Monstrox, the Book of Betrayal. Let's check it out before the heroes arrive. Izuku, I'll go through it as quick as I can, then we can take it. Izuku reads through it and takes notes as fast as he could. Mr. Compress, why not eat it now? Monstrox, I can't, in order for the ritual to work, we need the whole book. Izuku finished going through the book and then he checks it out of the library. Spinner, now let's go. They were on their way out when they bump into someone. Himiko, hey, watch where you're going. They look up to see the UA students and faculty there. Villains, the heroes. Heroes, the villains. The book. Katsuki quickly snatches it away from Izuku. Izuku, hey, give that back. Katsuki, no way, we're not going to let you take over Japan. Monstrox, is that what you think we're doing? Oh ho, you couldn't be further from the truth. They were confused by this, but they still tried to keep the book away from the Lug. They fought over who gets the Book of Betrayal. Every time the villains manage to get it, the heroes snatch it away, and vice versa. Eventually it stopped once Shinso passed the book to Ida. Ida, I'll get this back to you. They continue to fight each other until Kurogyri pulls them through a portal back to the castle. Tamura, I can't believe they got the last book. Izuku, don't worry Tamura, we'll get it back. Let them have this victory, for soon we will triumph, and the hero commission will fall. Monstrox, I couldn't agree more. Both laughing. Just the laughter. We return to the redoubt of ruination as the monsters make preparations for the ritual. While the League were having a discussion, Izuku, the hero students have taken the final book back to UA. Dabi, so all we have to do is break in and steal it. Monstrox, that won't be necessary. Spinner, what? But you said we need to get all the books. Izuku, the final book we need is the Book of Betrayal, we don't even have to go to UA to get it. Magna, I still don't follow. Monstrox, don't you get it? The power of the Book of Betrayal will turn even their goody-goody hearts black. No worries, they'll bring the book back to us. And not only that, but it will also make them see the corruption in the hero commission so they won't be our enemies for much longer. Izuku, soon our purpose will be fulfilled, and this corrupt society will fall. Izuku, in the dark of the night, I was tossing and turning. Monstrox, and the nightmare I had was as bad as can be. Izuku, it scared me out of my wits. A corpse falling to bits. Monstrox, then I opened my eyes and the nightmare was me. I was once one of the most powerful sorcerers in all the world. Izuku, when the heroes betrayed me, they made a mistake. Monstrox, my curse made each of them pay. Izuku, but then they got in the way. Madam President, beware, the monsters are awake. Monsters and villains. In the dark of the night, evil will find them. In the dark of the night, just before dawn. Izuku, revenge will be sweet. Everyone, when the curse is complete. Monsters and villains, in the dark of the night. Izuku, they'll be gone. Monstrox, I can feel that my powers are slowly returning. Izuku, tie my sash and a dash of cologne for that smell. As the pieces fall into place. Monstrox, we'll see them crawl into place. Dasvidania, Madam, Your Grace, farewell. Monsters and villains. In the dark of the night, terror will find them. Monstrox, terror's the least I can do. Monsters and villains. In the dark of the night, evil will brew. Everyone, soon they will feel. Monstrox, that their nightmares are real. Monsters and villains. In the dark of the night. Izuku, they'll be through. Monsters and villains. In the dark of the night, evil will find them. Molto, find them. Monsters and villains. In the dark of the night, terror comes true. Molto, doom them. Izuku, my dear, here's a sign. Everyone, it's the end of the line. Monsters and villains. In the dark of the night. In the dark of the night. Izuku summons monsters. Monstrox, come my minions. Rise for your master. Let your evil shine. Monsters and villains. In the dark of the night. In the dark of the night. Izuku, find them now. Fly ever faster. Monsters and villains. In the dark of the night. In the dark of the night. In the dark of the night. Izuku and Monstrox. Freedom will be ours. The next day everyone was making preparations for Monstrox's revival. Izuku was looking outside and sees some UA school buses arrive which made him smile. The heroes arrive at the entrance of the Redoubt of Ruination, where Burnsy and Sparks are guarding the entrance. They step aside as the lava door opens. Magmar and Izuku walk out to greet them. Izuku, good to see all of you. We've been waiting. Aizawa, you sound like you knew we were coming. Magmar, oh, you have no idea. This way. Bakugo gives Izuku the Book of Betrayal, and Izuku now looked at his old friend, with happiness, knowing his road to redemption has paid off. They led the students and teachers to the dark arena where they heard some of the monsters chanting or playing drums. Magmar, behold the dark arena. The dark arena was filled to the brim with monsters. There were 2 new monsters as well, both being humanoid. The first group had mohawks and were playing the drums. They were called crust smashers or evil drummers, while the others wore armor and carried spears. They were ash attackers or evil acolytes. In the center, there was a Nomu chained to a stone slab. It resembled other Nomu but had a large, muscular build and a comparatively long neck, which had several large vertebrae jutting out of it. His skin is dark purple/black and his head is shrouded in darkness by a hood of skin, with yellow eyes that resemble Kurogyri's as the only facial feature under it. The muscles on his neck and shoulders were left exposed. Underneath his hood, his face consisted entirely of an exposed brain, distorted red eyes, and a mouth full of long, jagged teeth. When they looked around, they also saw cauldrons in front of each pillar where two scurries were handling a green smoking liquid. Ectoplasm, what do you intend to do with that Nomo? Magmar, he shall serve his purpose at the end of the ceremony. The chanting and drumming continue until Monstrox, cut. Everyone stopped what they were doing as Monstrox and the bookkeeper came in with Monstrox wearing a beret. Monstrox, awful. Totally wrong. This is the most important show any of you will ever be involved with. You gotta do it right. Do you know how much I'm spending on this whole dark arena and the music and the Lava Y design theme? To Laveria, how much did we spend on music? Laveria, a lot, like all the gold we had left. Monstrox, really? This is a one-time event, honey. Find some public domain. Evil drummers, you're missing your cue at bar 56. And what's with the lighting? Molto, Flamma, how hard is it to relight QC? Don't know how it's spelled? Molt, kind of hard. Flamma, yeah, we can't actually read. Flamma holds the instructions over the cauldron and it burns up by accident. Monstrox groans in disgust and the procession of evil acolytes. You blew your entrance, again. We open tonight, folks, tonight. Ugh, my binding is gonna explode before we get this right. The show has to be stupendous, in that it must be horrific. Horrific stupendousness. That's what we're shooting for. Magmar? Magmar? Yes, sir. Monstrox, you're the stage manager, you should be kicking some butt here. Magmar, yes, but a bad dress rehearsal means a good opening night. Monstrox, ugh, platitudes, great, that means you've checked out. To the monsters and the dance moves right before the first intermission. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. It's like some of you guys have 2 left feet. One of the Ash attackers looks down to see if he meant it literally. Monstrox, watch me. Monstrox, to the bookkeeper, dance me around. Bookkeeper, nods yes sir. Starts dancing. Monstrox, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Jairu, this is quite a production. Izuku, oh, you have no idea. Once the dance was over, Monstrox went over to Burnsy and Sparks, who had just arrived and were standing by one of the podiums. The group decided to go over to him as they were talking. Monstrox, it's a simple job, just make sure all the books of evil are properly aligned on the 11 podiums of pestilence. Got it? Burnsy, sure boss. Magmar, ahem, sir, we have visitors. Monstrox, we knew you'd come. Finally learned the truth about what's been happening behind your backs? Must have been quite a surprise. Aizawa, we're only agreeing to this since we know you wouldn't harm any innocent lives. I just hope we're making the right choice. Monstrox, don't worry, the civilians and innocent won't be caught in the crossfire, and all the corrupt heroes will be punished by the law. Now, before we begin with awakening the Colossus, we need to get myself a body. But first, you gotta see this. Starts shaking and mumbling gibberish as the beret falls off. Momo, what's happening? Magmar, I don't know. Takes out a scroll with writing on it. I wasn't at the technical rehearsal. Monstrox approaches the first podium and starts regurgitating transparent versions of the books of evil that he consumed as Burnsy and Sparks put them on the podiums. Monstrox, the Book of Evil, a new evil dawns across the land. The boom of chaos, the curse will spread and chaos will reign. The Book of Fear, so that fear abounds at my command. The Book of Anger, the raging anger is my domain. The Book of Deception, nothing will be as it seems to you. The Book of Destruction, your world destroyed, you will feel the pain. The Book of Vengeance, my vengeance I shall renew. Laveria, it's always a party when there's ceremonial barfing involved. Monstrox, the Book of Greed, all the treasures of the world will be in my possession. The Book of Envy, everything will belong to me. The Book of Cruelty, all shall be filled with nastiness. And finally, the Book of Betrayal, my enemies will join our cause. Izuku placed the Book of Betrayal on the last podium with Monstrox grinning from ear to ear, if he had any. Monstrox, now let's get this show on the road. Izuku guides everyone to where the rest of the league, Inko and Eri, are watching as all the monsters got into their possessions. Izuku stands beside Monstrox. The ceremony then begins as the crust smashers start drumming and the monsters start chanting and working on the cauldrons. Once it got to a certain point, Laveria cues Burnsy and Sparks to walk in. Monstrox, I'm so excited. Can you feel the evil building inside me? I'm as giddy as a textbook. They walk up to the podium with the Book of Evil. Monstrox, and now it is time that I, Monstrox, the arch-necromancer of evil, take human form again. All these things taken from me so long ago by Malik, now come together again. To make me Monstrox. Come forth, evil. Monstrox absorbs the Book of Evil's power, turning it into a non-magic book. He then grows larger. Magmar, the master, returns. Monstrox approaches the Book of Fear. Monstrox, fear. He does the same as before, but this time he gets so big that the bookkeeper can no longer carry him, and he falls over. Monstrox, Burnsy. Burnsy picks him up. The bookkeeper got up and walked to the audience now that he was out of a job, but Izuku still felt that he could serve a purpose in the future. Burnsy then goes to the Book of Chaos. Monstrox, Chaos. Then the Book of Anger. Monstrox, Anger. Then the Book of Destruction. Monstrox, Destruction. Then the Book of Vengeance. Monstrox, Vengeance. Then the Book of Deception. Monstrox, Deception. Monstrox was now large enough to absorb the power of the three evil books, and so he did to the books of Greed, Envy, and Cruelty. Monstrox, Greed, Envy, Cruelty. Now there was only one book left. Monstrox. And finally, the ultimate betrayal of all good in this world. The Book of Betrayal. The final book's power had left it and Monstrox had regained all his power. He was now able to float and he hovered over Hood. Monstrox, now become Monstrox. Monstrox now forced all his power into the Nomu's body as the book began to shrink back to normal size and the face on it vanished. Once the dust settled, the Nomu was free from its restraints and let out a laugh similar to Monstrox. The ceremony worked. Monstrox, yes, after so long, I finally got a body again. He then proceeds to laugh with everyone else joining in. Monstrox, now Izuku, my young apprentice? Monstrox holds out his hand as some obsidian comes together and forms a staff similar to his own. He walks towards Izuku and gives him the staff while taking back his own. Monstrox, it's time to get the final forbidden power and awaken the Colossus of ultimate destruction. Izuku, yes master, I've already located it, Kurogiri. Kurogiri opens a portal and they walk through, finding themselves close to an abandoned village and the Rogol statue in front of them. Izuku, there it is. They arrive and see the Rogol in pieces. Monstrox zaps it to life as it holds the forbidden power. It was a yellow skull made of energy and what appears to be a blast shooting out of the bottom. This was awesome annihilation. Izuku takes the forbidden power and puts it in his staff. Izuku, alright, let's test it out. Feels the immense power causing him to lose his balance. Whoa, it's really powerful. Monstrox, nice. Fire it up. Izuku, whoa, I can't stop it, it's gone haywire. Monstrox, you gotta do it now or it will overwhelm you. Izuku, I'm trying. Monstrox, now do it now. Izuku, no. Suddenly a powerful yellow blast shoots out of the staff, knocking him back. When he gets up, he sees the entire town destroyed. Everyone's eyes widen at the sight of such destruction. Thankfully that small town was abandoned long ago. Izuku, I can see what all the hype was about. Luckily we're not actually going to use it on a populated area. Katsuki, but that blast definitely drew some attention. Bakugo points out as they see some HPSC heroes arriving. Toya, they can't see you here, get on the evil mobile. The heroes all did as instructed with the bookkeeper, Toya, and Spinner driving the vehicle, and twice providing some extra speed in the wheels. Izuku and the rest of the league got onto the rolling headquarters and they quickly went ahead. The rest of the monsters got into their respective vehicles and followed behind, making sure to keep the HPSC heroes at bay. Izuku, we have to hurry, or they'll catch up with us. Monstrox, we're almost there, but we'd better get them off us. Laveria, sir, I have a plan. They're after Izuku and the staff. right? Monstrox, yeah? Laveria, so what if we trick them into thinking there are multiple Izukus? Izuku, and we can use the power of deception to fool them. Good idea. Monstrox used his powers to create fake duplicates of the staff and Izuku and gave one to each of the monsters. The heroes seem to have bought it. The roles are reversed. The chase ended once they caught up and found out the truth. They then pursued the rolling headquarters and evil mobile. But Monstrox wasn't done with them yet. The monsters were able to take out the heroes that they went after leaving one vehicle behind. They regrouped with the rest of the team and then headed across a stone bridge. Fake hero, go go go. Izuku then gets to the back and uses collapsing crumble on the bridge, causing it to fall apart. Just as they finished crossing. Fake hero. Stop stop stop. Stop. The vehicle came to a halt and the team got away. They reached Mount Thunderstrokes where a few heroes were waiting. Izuku, keep them busy while we finish the transference. The monsters, namely the Harpies, 3 brothers, Infernox, a few stone monsters, and lava monsters stayed behind and began to fight off the HPSC heroes while the gang made their way up the mountain. Once they reach the top, they all climb off and Izuku takes his staff with the forbidden power. He was about to give it to Monstrox, but he stopped him. Monstrox, kid, I want you to do this. Izuku, what? But you deserve it more than me. Monstrox, no, you brought us all to this point, you'll take us all to the end. Izuku looked at his staff, and then at everyone present. He smiles and walks up to the crown. Monstrox uses his magic to summon lightning storms to complete the process. Izuku, it ends today. Monstrox, transfer forbidden power. The tablet melts and flows through the staff down to the floor and then up to the final stone pillar. Izuku, with this power of desolation, I give to you awesome annihilation. Once the transference is complete, the symbol on the tablet appears on the final stone pillar. The duo then laugh maniacally as Monstrox's storm dies down. Once it was done, a surge of electricity travels up the stone pillar and bridges out to the others, and a purple aura surrounds the pillars. Monstrox, we have gathered 10 forbidden powers. Now they are combining to power the Colossus of ultimate destruction. The lightning travels down to the Colossus, causing it to wake up. The team manages to get off the mountain just in time. The mountain begins breaking as it begins to stand up. Just the Colossus being awakened. It's a giant stone monster, the sire of a mountain. It has large purple wings, and in place of a right hand, it has a large blaster. The standing stones are on its head, imitating a crown. Izuku, whoa, now that's a monster. Monstrox, I'll take control of it for now. Make sure the innocent aren't in the way. Aim, right? Everyone, let's head back and protect the people. The heroes leave to protect the innocent while the League stay. Tenko, Doctor, wake up Gigantomachia, we're storming the Hero Commission. Garaki sends a message to the radio around Machia's neck, making him wake up and walk all the way to the city. He is careful not to hurt any bystanders and keeps the HPSC heroes away. Izuku, onward, to the Hero Commission. The monsters all charge ahead, fighting off as many heroes as possible and overwhelming them with just their sheer numbers. Machia also used his own quirks to help keep strong heroes at bay. The Colossus walks all the way to the HPSC building and tears the roof off, shocking everyone inside. Izuku gets off the Colossus and points his staff at the Hero Commission president. Izuku, your broken society ends today. A new age has begun. One of the members gets up and tries to attack Izuku, only to be met with a powerful blast from the staff. Izuku, no more quirk discrimination, no more rejection, no more corruption. It ends here. With the fall of the current Hero Commission, Nisa became the new president and helped rebuild society so no one would suffer under discrimination. This has also led to many fake heroes being arrested and several schools which encouraged quirk discrimination being shut down and students being blacklisted from several schools that don't take kindly to such bad behavior. As the years went by, things were beginning to change for the better. Izuku became a very powerful wizard and helped others learn these mystic arts. Monstrox decided to travel the world to learn more about what had transpired in his absence. Katsuki Bakugo and Class 1A graduated and became full-fledged heroes who help people and give villains a chance at redemption. The League of Villains went their separate ways, with Himiko marrying Izuku and having 2 children along with Eri. Toya was rekindling the bond he had with his family. Twice became Ectoplasm's assistant at UA and helped people who suffered from dissociative identity disorder. Spinner wrote a book about the life of League and what they have overcome. Mr. Compress became a famous magician and powerful ally to the heroes when it came to capturing villains. Magna spent time with her friends and proceeded to help others who weren't comfortable being forced to do things they weren't comfortable with. Kurogyri regained his memories and reunited with Aizawa and Present Mike. He became Aizawa's teacher's assistant, helping teach the next generation of heroes. Tenko spent time with his new family while also undergoing therapy to help cure him of his past trauma. As for AFO, despite his infamy, he still helped put Izuku and Tenko on the path they were always meant to be on, so he had a few years removed from his sentence and would be released within a few years, with the chance at parole. In the end, the villains had triumphed and brought about an age of true peace. And that's it from Monster Summoner Izuku. Phew, this was a long one. Hopefully the next one I write won't be so long. Anyway, thank you all so much for your support. As for what I'm going to write next, let's just say it might give digital hallucinations. Until next time, bye. Izuku. Okay, I'm listening. Book of Monsters. Good, now then, first things first.
Okay, sadly the chapter is over. And if you enjoyed the video, just leave a like and subscribe with post notification, so when the next chapter is ready, you will be notified. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.